Wait for Scoy to be on the next series of Dancing on Ice.
What a lovely set.
Dancing on Ice.
Yeah.
That would be thick ice.
If you want to put the other lamp on.
Oh, we're on. You can't editorial when we're on, Phil. You're too late now. We're on now. This is it. The show's live. You know, there's got 3 tons of humble pie downstairs that we are going to be forced to eat live on this show because, as ever, the old predictions have gone down a storm. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? You know, there must be loads of rich punters out there who back Huddersfield to win at Wigan.
that Huddersfield and Hull KR and
who backed Hull KR to win yesterday.
Scratch.
And of course, who backed Salford minus 44. We're never in doubt, were it, to win at Catalans like that. Well, you did. I'd imagine there'd be people waving £20 notes around at us, you know, throwing them onto social media.
Like loads of money.
They should be thanking us.
Daniel did actually back Salford to win by over 13 points, so well done to him. He can legitimately put the boot in today. And then all those people who say, oh, you went for Wakefield minus 36. Yeah, because I didn't know it were going to be snowing at minus 20 when I actually selected my prediction last week. Welcome along, everyone. Anyway. It's nice
we don't have to justify ourselves.
No, we don't.
Yes, you do.
No, we do.
Yes, you do.
I like it. Listen,
yes, you do.
People.
When you come out with ridiculous predictions like you did last weekend, you've got to justify yourself.
Well
done, listeners.
Yes, you're
right. Well done, listeners.
Hold on.
Well done, viewers, for getting ripped into them.
How many did you get right?
I was going to say on the media, my ridiculous predictions were better than his. Yeah. He did his properly, apparently.
Yeah, but I'll take it.
Someone has noted your recent results on the old Rugby League.
Only this week.
Have gone down.
No.
No.
Only this week. But when I'm wrong, I'll take it on the chin. I don't know which one, 1, 2 or 3, but I'll take it on the chin. So accept it when you make ridiculous predictions, boys.
Does Ian Mills will have a column on the Sporting Line where he gets everything wrong every week?
Yeah,
at least we're not as bad as him.
No, we're not that bad. But we're getting there.
As well.
We're getting there. What we will say is, because we've got a lot, it's amazing how many listeners we've got from Salford, because they're all hammering me on Twitter this morning.
They all go to every game as well.
Yeah, they all do, thousands of them.
Never trust a single word we say.
I think that's a bit harsh.
That's a bit harsh.
That's a bit
harsh.
Is it?
One Salford fan likes us.
Yeah.
But she's paid to do so.
And on the media tipping, only one person predicted Salford. And that was Gemma, who predicts Salford every week.
Yeah, who was it?
The Salford fan.
Yeah, Salford fan, so that don't even count.
No, exactly.
Like you even have stopped clocks right twice a day.
I'll tell you what, there's a new game everyone can play at home on the Channel 3 Sports. It's spotting things on here, on there. I haven't seen the Tri-Sign. Looking forward to that. Seeing that on the telly next week.
Yeah. Well,
we'll have to stick some items on that they nick. That shouldn't be on the telly.
I think we should put a secret message on.
Well, we did spot Forty20 magazine in the background.
Yeah.
Really?
We'll move on from that. I don't even want to talk about that. I need to have words with you. You've allowed our space to be violated. We need to have words.
When you say our space?
Well, your space. Let's go. Right, anyway, well done to Huddersfield. No, I didn't see it coming. Well done to them. Great win. Well done, of course, to Salford. Unbelievable result on Saturday night. Well done to Hull KR yesterday, who defended their way to the victory. I've watched 3 games live this week. And the most pathetic display of things from Leeds. We'll discuss that after 7. We can't get stuck into them just yet. But it's been an interesting week. I tell you what, there's some teams in crisis. Not only Leeds, Wigan as well. What have you made of the Rugby League weekend so far? I'll start with you, Gary. What have you made of it all? What's caught your eye? What's not caught your eye?
Well, I think it's like everybody else. The surprise results, and at the end of the day, yeah, the weather might not have been the kindest, but at the end of the day, it's the same for both sides, isn't it? You know, so. But the surprise results, but as Mr. Harrington has said himself in the League Express, the new system's working. Don't be blaming our poor form. You know, teams are playing better than what I'm being anticipated. So he's pretty happy the way that Leeds seems to be at the moment in the league table because
did he actually get asked any awkward questions about recent events?
Well, I don't think so because he's answered.
I'm just querying that. I've not read it, so I can't say.
To be honest with you, it's like. But we're just saying, so who would have thought Wakefield would have got beat, who would have thought Catalans would have got beat, and who would have thought Wigan would have got beat. But at the end of the day, to be honest with you, Gary, Wakefield's problems aren't your problems, Wigan's problems aren't your problems, and Catalans who are getting hammered by Salford. It's a situation where, Leeds at this moment in time, which, as you mentioned, we'll talk about after 7 o'clock. But the results this weekend have been a little bit surprising, but... yeah, overall, pretty good to be honest with you. I think as well with the Challenge Cup, some of the amateur sides put up good performances. I think Dissington, they've got to take a lot of out their performance at Keighley. Yeah, the professionalism in the end came from there, but overall the amateur clubs made a good fist of it. The most of them did in the Challenge Cup from there, and also as well the second half performance from Toulouse. 40 points to Zilt in the second half against Toronto. I mean, that's been fantastic.
I've had a blinding weekend because not only did I get all the Super League games wrong, my Toronto to remain unbeaten lasted about 5 weeks, didn't it? So, unbelievable result and a great crowd fill, 6,000.
Well, I think 3 things this weekend spring to mind. The first is great to see Ben Curry back.
Yes.
I think of all the players of the recent era who've had the most ill luck with injuries, who have a supreme talent that we want to see blossom on the biggest stage. Just great to see him in that Warrington team and coming through it. Hopefully it's the start of a long, unfettered run without any form of injury. So great to see Ben Curry back. Secondly, I pick up on the Toulouse thing and what you both said. Firstly, their performance on the field, which I think is 40 points against any team is astonishing, but to do it against a Toronto side who clearly had been the front runners in that division, that must have been something really special. I think the other thing is, as you mentioned, the crowd, 6,000. We're talking about, is this a possible template for how the game goes? You've got 2 teams who, neither of whom bring away fans, apparently.
Hold on, we've got a technical problem, so we're just taking a time out here because RSW is
no, it should be working.
He's under the pump. Have you mended it?
Yeah, I think so. Because we had to move the thing because everyone's moved everything. The wire came out.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's technical.
The wire came out. Who put the wire in?
Well, I did, but then we moved the camera, didn't we?
Right. So whose fault is it?
Yeah, it's my fault.
Right. Okay. Apologies, you haven't missed anything anyway.
We haven't signed off Leeds.
You've missed some self-flagellation, as we admit we got virtually everything wrong last week.
Yes, we did. We got everything wrong. If you had a bet on Salford, KR and Huddersfield, well done to you. Yeah, brilliant.
So I reiterate, Ben Curry. Great.
Yes, brilliant.
Great. Good to see him back. Hopefully, long run without injury. Toronto, Toulouse, amazing performance on the field from Toulouse to score 40 unanswered points in the second half, but also a crowd of 6,000 for 2 sides that apparently bring nothing to the sport, don't have any away fans, can't create an event. Obviously, there's no interest whatsoever in what either of these teams do. The 6,000 that they got, the rest of the championship combined, and we are talking Barrow, Batley, Featherstone, Halifax, Swinton, all at home. I think they're all what might be termed traditional clubs.
Yeah.
They got 9,000.
Right.
So, 6,000 at Toulouse in a rugby union stadium that is somewhere where they could play if they were ever elevated to a higher level, because we know that they've got issues with their own home ground. Toronto apparently, who obviously home fans want to see, but don't take any away fans with them. Is that a template for where the sport can go in the future? Should it be looking at the real contrast between what 2 new clubs can bring to the sport and where traditional clubs are at the moment? So I think that's a debate worth having, whichever side you stand on it. I think the other thing is Salford's performance, because I don't think it was just the fact that they took us by surprise with that result. I just think the manner in which they played, there was just a joy.
Well, Richard said, can we talk about Salford for 2 hours?
Well,
which probably their performance deserves.
I'm not sure I've seen a team that virtually didn't make a mistake for an entire 80 minutes, that worked not only on an outstanding attacking principle by moving the ball wide all the time, but we do forget that defensively they were magnificent. Their scrambling defence was superb. You don't nil Catalan in Perpignan easily. Very few teams. In fact, I don't think Salford have nilled anybody in Super League up until this point. We've said we love the way
I think they have. I'm sure someone said they'd done it at the Willows before.
Right. I don't know whether
it might have been Catalan and Harlequins.
Well, they certainly haven't away, that is for sure.
Yeah, fair dues, yeah.
And we've always said we like the way Ian Watson goes about it. But I think there was something else. I get the feeling that Salford had a really good time out there. That they weren't one of these teams like Warrington the week before that had flown in on the day of the game, want to do the business and fly out. Which obviously clearly didn't work for Warrington. Does for some teams, it didn't for them. But Salford went out there a day early. They embraced the fact that the players were in an unfamiliar environment. They I think, helped the fans have a really good time as well. They were very open and you could see by the absolute joy between the players at the end of the game and the fans that had gone over there and supported them. There's a clear bond there. I don't think it was just a case of going and trying to do the job and going out. They made it for themselves something a little bit more meaningful, and full credit to them. That was one of the most enjoyable 80 minutes I've seen for a very long time, and none of us saw that coming.
I think when you look at that Salford performance, you have got to say it was a 10 out of 10 performance.
Yeah.
Both with ball in hand, both defensive wise, discipline wise, because also as well when they were 20 points up, when they got themselves 30 points, they didn't put the queue on the rack. They just wanted to keep playing.
And they didn't close the game down. There was no kicking for touch because we're winding the clock down.
Not whatsoever. And it's a philosophy what I said many times on this show is how you train is how you play. And then on Saturday they played how they trained. And Ian Watson would have been saying, you know what, if I could bottle this up, because this is what I see. How many times Salford will train for the week? What, maybe 4 or 5 times as a team run? And then he'll be saying, do you know what, I just wish I could bottle that up because I know what these players can do.
Scott,
it's about doing that on a consistency basis.
Ian Lenigan, should you be looking at Ian Watson now? And this is not anti-Salford. This is Ian Watson's doing a great job. If you give him the tools, he'll do the job. He's got the tools at the minute. The worry is, will he have the tools long term?
How can they do it to Ian Watson? They've got Sean Edwards coming in.
I'll tell you what, the way...
Well, should Ian Watson go to Wasps then, where Edwards is supposed to be going?
Do you know
well, hold on.
No, I mean, it's a serious question. Right? Ian Watson is doing a great job.
Hey, listen, Ian Watson is doing a fantastic job. And when you look at the English coaches doing a fantastic job, right? And we know, I guess we might speak about it later on, but with the Wayne Bennett situation with Grey Brain, why has it Wayne Bennett got young English coaches as assistants? Which again we could speak about. But yeah, I don't have an issue. Ian Watson, is he good enough to be the Wigan coach? No two ways about it.
We don't want any coach to lose their job.
By the way, Salford fans now will be. They'll be
no, look, hey, that's how well he's doing. I'm sorry,
I agree.
But that's how well
I'll
he's
tell you
doing.
where the style of play would suit, because it would sit perfectly with the fans. Catalan. That was as Gallic a performance as I've seen. Running the ball, moving the ball.
What about our club?
Well, we'll talk about that after 7.
I just thought...
We like to play up and attractive.
I thought they'd swap the jerseys.
We like to play with commitment. We like to play with purpose.
The joie de vivre that Salford played with is how
Philip, we don't sit on the show we don't sit on the fence on this show.
How I thought French
Ian Watson for
should be
Leeds.
played.
We'll talk about that later.
Salford fans are going to go ballistic.
No, look,
is that
Salford
Ian Watson
brilliant.
edging out Chris Chester, Danny Ward,
James Ford,
Hey, listen.
Darryl Powell.
Darryl Powell?
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
listen.
One good game, you've got to be coach of Leeds.
Hey, let me tell you this: Chris Chester, Danny Ward, and Darryl Powell. Even myself might do a little bit better this moment in time.
What I'm saying is, it was a very Gallic performance. I would love to see a French team play that way, as indeed Toulouse did.
The worry for the rest of Super League, who might have been counting on Salford imploding, is that they're going to do, I think, what they did a couple of years ago, and that's get the points on the board early enough where it doesn't matter what happens in the second half of the season. What's happening, Rich?
The exciting news is we're close now to our target. We don't want to get 1,000 subscribers for the cachet of going, no, look, we've got 1,000 subscribers. We want to earn money.
Yeah.
Although we're probably on about 3 pence. And
3 pence is better than nothing.
It is. 3 pence for
It's another bomb.
4 of us.
Have you ever heard beggars can't be choosers? Well,
Exactly. We've got 995 subscribers on YouTube, so we need 5 more. So if you've got, like I did yesterday, get me niece and nephew's phones, subscribe to the account. Anyone who's
what he's saying is you fraudulently
no, they like Rugby League. They went to the game yesterday.
They were there, I saw them,
That would have been traumatic.
They were there getting hailstoned on and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Outrageous.
It's like
Being told their team would win and seeing them lose.
Might be in the way end.
It's the tough initiation. We've all been through it.
Heartbreaking it was.
Like being in the away end at Headingley it was.
It was exactly like you said.
Yeah.
Multi-million-pound
People
stadium,
still
still get wet when it rains.
One of them sports cast anyway, so he was happy.
I wonder why he was sticking 2 fingers up.
He's got to wait for a season ticket for his sportscast.
Yeah, well, doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, so 5 more people subscribe and then we can earn money.
Alright, very good.
So please do that on YouTube and get all your friends to do so as well.
Yeah.
Lots of people very happy with Salford. And Tom says, why would Ian Watson want to go to Wigan and have his hand tied behind his back?
Look, it's a fair comment. It's not.
Yeah.
Salford's challenge, I think, now as a club, right, and they've clearly weathered a huge storm at Salford. The fact that they're still going and still in Super League is testament to everyone that's worked there.
Yeah.
It's testament to Watson and the players that stuck by it. They seem to have the most popular man in Super League in Jackson Hastings that's bought into what they're all about. Everyone's buying into him, he's buying into everything else, and it's snowballing almost for them. Their challenge now is how do they go from here? How do they make sure that they don't start losing players? Are the fans, again, travelled in good numbers at the weekend? I mentioned when I went to Huddersfield, they were there in massive numbers. Need to get more of them down at the AJ Bell every week and really get some money in the club coffers.
The issue for them hasn't changed. They need a bigger squad.
Yeah.
Adam Lawton made his debut, I thought, made a great impression. So again, Ian Watts is another of those coaches that can't always shop at the top end, but can get the best out of what he's got. But they just need about another 6 players because we want to shake up Super League. I mean, no matter who we support, we're all desperate to see a new name on the trophy, to have exciting things to talk about other than the obvious teams that seem to win it every year. So yes, we want Salford to continue in the manner in which they have, but the worry still is that as the season goes on, it's a very long season. 2 or 3 injuries to some key players will expose the depth of that squad. So Ian Watson has said he's been interested in 2 or 3 players this year, but they haven't had the money to go out and get them. That's the issue. Can they hold on for long enough with the squad fully fit? Can they rotate them to make sure they get the best out of them? But can they bring in 3 or 4 other players just to maintain the start that they've had, and then to start obviously building an academy so they can start generating their own
What squad have they got? What numbers is their squad?
Well, it's small, we know that.
Well, what is it, 23, 25?
No, they've got the 25, but it's after you get after that, where do the players come from?
Yeah, right.
You look at all the Super
what's the
League
quality
squads.
of the players from, say, 22?
Well, every team like that, Phil. Every team like that. But also as well, let's just take it another step then. If Salford don't get any injuries, they'll be all right.
Yeah, they will.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't, it's not guaranteed they are going to get injuries.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's not guaranteed they're not going to get injuries. But what I'm saying is, if they don't get injuries, then boy oh boy, I'll tell you what, they will give it a shake-up because, the way that they played at the weekend, if they can get down on a consistent basis, well, they are gonna cause a lot of teams a lot of problems.
And rightly, a lot of the focus is on Jackson Hastings and Joey Lussick, but how well is Niall Evalds playing at the moment? Is there a better fullback in Super League for linking into the line, for creating opportunity? Some of the stuff out wide that they did was solely down to Evalds and his timing into the line. I thought it was absolutely
well, I've been contacted by someone from Salford who said about last week. You mentioned the Salford Academy. Well, Niall Evalds and Jake Bibby are both out of the old academy, which is great. So where are the next Niall Evalds and Jake Bibby coming from? That's the question, and maybe that is the next step for Salford. Like you said, is to get back into that and build their club. But it does sit in credit where it's due when we're seeing teams that are struggling financially that we deem bigger clubs than Salford. They're doing well at the minute, and I think we should enjoy that and hopefully see them kick on.
That 80 minutes was fantastic.
People like text me, "You're watching the Salford game?" I'm like, yeah, I can't believe it either. Not that they won it, the manner of the victory, the manner of it,
and the fact that they managed to not only score a lot of really entertaining tries by pushing the ball wide, but that 0 is massive. I think absolutely.
But also as well, when you was watching the game. When you saw the Catalans players when they were stood behind the sticks, you could see the body language. They were thinking, "Hold on, what's Salford doing here?"
Yeah, this isn't what we saw in.
Why is Salford playing this sort of rugby league? Why is Salford literally throwing the ball about where they shouldn't be really playing it? Because we're not used to this. You've got to give credit where it's due, But because Catalans, did they really play that bad? I think we've got to say Salford literally just totally outplayed.
Well, I thought it was 6-0. I said to
Richard,
I thought they had a couple of chances, Catalans. I think Edwards dropped the ball a couple of times, and I thought, oh, they're getting on top here. And then bang, 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 up the other end, game was done. Where do they go from here then, the Dragons?
So the thing about Catalans is they normally intimidate teams because of the size of their back and the rotation of the guys that they bring on. So again, full credit to Salford that in that period where Catalan were on top, that's where I think, as well as the great tries, that the 0 conceded is massive.
Yeah.
They weren't intimidated. Huge. The goal line defence was huge. We will talk about all the clubs that might not be in crisis. Are Catalan in crisis?
Well, hold on. Mick's just said Saints battered Salford and they look shocking. Now they are world beaters, brave guys. I think there's an element.
That 80 minutes, they were world beaters.
Yeah, they were for that 80 minutes. They have got to get that consistency in. We've been commented on by people from Salford who were getting stuck in because we tipped them to lose. I think, hang on, I tipped them to beat Leeds and they lost by 50. Leeds are the only team, Salford are the only team Leeds have beaten. So I think that's a fair point from me. World beaters. world beaters.
Is there an issue?
I watched the worst. We're going to come on Leeds. We're going to come on to Leeds after 7, Phil. I watched the worst half-back performance I've ever seen from a professional player on Friday night. I'm not peaking too early. It was mentioned, right, legitimately mentioned, that if Scully had played, Leeds would have played better. And I mean that. I sincerely mean that. I'm getting ripped
Scully at his peak or Scully now?
Scully now. Scully now. Honestly.
Awful.
That is awful.
Anyway, hold on, lads. Hold on. I had my MOT the other day. I tell you what, I'm pretty decent. The doctor, you know, with the MOT, pretty decent. Don't worry about that.
Dr. Kukoc.
Did you not put both feet on the scales, or?
I didn't.
According to Salford's website, they've got exactly 25 players in their squad.
Right.
Okay.
Helped by the fact Jackson
but also,
31,
but also as well, man. Just to reply to the guy there, you know, said, well, Salford the volleyball one game. As I've mentioned from then, and we say it week in week, it's all about consistency. And as I said, Salford on Saturday, they played how they trained, how they played, and how they played is how they trained. And if Ian Watson, as I said earlier, if he could bottle that up, you know, and get that consistency week in and week out, because the players have seen they can do it, you know. So now it's just up to them to say, all right, don't fall in love with ourselves, you know. And I said, just crack on, because if they do play like that week in and week out, they don't change their philosophy. Well, I'll tell you what, they will literally beat more sides. They will, because teams don't expect teams to play like Salford did at the weekend. And as Phil mentioned, the great point was, they didn't put the cue on the rack, and all they wanted to do was just play open, smart rugby league, do it at the right end of the field, and as I say, they were very, very entertaining. And I tell you what, that it will bring the crowds back. That if that's the sort of rugby league they're going to play, crowds will come back.
At Cass this week, it'll be tough. It'll be interesting to see how they go on at Cass. Cass obviously beating on Friday night. Lots of people getting involved. Yeah, Paul's getting stuck into us about getting coaches sacked, but we'll go back to Cal in a minute. Go on, what's happening on social media?
Nick says, why don't Salford link up with Rochdale and Oldham? And Woodward suggests Swinton, Nick, to form a City of Manchester Academy. Well, the two Hull clubs do it. Why not?
I wouldn't. That might be the way they've got to go. That might be. Look, they need to be looking at this. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, well, I know we all know they've had discussions at some point with Manchester Rangers, who put in obviously a bid to be in League One, and they were going to work with Salford. So I think there are people at the club and within that part of the geographical area that are looking to make the best of what's there. But
from a Salford point of view, the sooner they can pretty much guarantee they're not going to be going down, you can then plan on another lot of Super League.
You know how much money that you've got, and you can allocate maybe a proportion of that to...
Exactly right.
I mean, to be fair, for some of the issues that Huddersfield have had at first team level, we know that they made a commitment 2 or 3 years ago to invest in an academy. That's starting to bear some fruit in that there are some players coming through who've now been the product of that academy, but it's a long haul and it takes a lot of investment. Salford at some point have got to start the beginning of that investment.
Yeah, I did just a question on that, and it's a side I'm sliding away, but you mentioned that, and this is a point I thought the other day. Huddersfield, great academy. Andy Kelly's a friend of ours doing a great job, and I think their ranking has already gone up, hasn't it? A few levels from where it was to where it is now. They produce some good people there. We've been lucky enough to go in and spend some time with them. They've got Darnell McIntosh, a winger. They've got the 2 senior boys on the wing. 3 kids that could all play Super League and have all played Super League. And yet they go sign a 31-year-old in Oarte. And yet I think they needed strengthening in other areas of the field. I'm just looking at that, and that maybe is a reason why I think Huddersfield are down at the bottom, is their recruitment hasn't been right. And it's all right having a great academy, but when are those kids going to play? Are they going to get in front of Uarte and McGilver? It's not going to happen too often, is it?
No, but I think that, again, is a selection issue and a philosophy of how you want to play issue and who's signing the players issue. But I think if you have an academy...
I'm not distracting from the academy. I was saying they need to play.
You know, if their academy had worked in the way that perhaps it should have done a little bit earlier, then the King brothers might have been at Huddersfield, which would have given them huge options.
Fair point. Go on, Rich.
Thanks to Up the Cream.
Yes.
The last few issues. Gareth Ellis is on the current one.
Yeah.
I've had a quick flick through since I've got it. Enjoyed the article about David Toppin, so I'll read them later. There's Up the Cream. Up the Cream, I think they have on Twitter, aren't they?
Yeah, very good. They send me one at home every...
I'll read that if it's about top off.
Other things on the table of tap this week. We've got a Blackpool Borough programme in the middle.
We have.
Which is hidden currently. Blackpool versus Halifax, teams that don't exist anymore. And a preview for the 1986 season. Oh, they do. Yeah. But under a different name.
I went to Coral the other day to put on my weekly file.
Joe Coral. You went to Joe Coral?
And you know what it said? Halifax Blue Sox on the thing. It's like, what? What's going on here? I'm not backing them.
Who? Nigel Wood's Halifax Blues. What happened to him?
Hey, listen, it was a great nickname I made by Nigel. Don't worry about that. Great nickname by Nigel. Brilliant nickname.
You'll be happy because Bradford won this week. We'll talk about them a little bit more later on.
Absolutely.
Catalan then. So they're bringing in the big Sam Cassiano. Have they got a little bit more stuff to worry about, or are they going to be all right? But you're 2 wins in 5. Only scored 66 points in 5 games.
My worry would be that it's the home form that has been their bedrock, and the away form that we've spoken about. They don't seem to have yet cured the away form, but to lose 46-0 at home, that, you know, I saw Steve McNamara's interview afterwards. He wasn't pulling any punches. They're going to reevaluate everything that they did in the run up to the Salford game. Didn't see it coming, but I think that would be the worry for me. That, you know, once you lose your home form so badly, and the style with which you play, and you mentioned there are certain clubs that expect a certain level of entertainment and can accept defeat if the team is playing in an attractive and expansive manner. Catalan are one of those, and if you buy Sam Cassiano, you're not going to play more open and attractive rugby. It's going to be more up the middle stuff. It clearly isn't working for them at the moment. They might have lost Michael McAlorum as well for a little while.
Yeah, but also as well though, Phil, to be honest with you, the way that McNamara has described Cassiano, I don't know if you saw it. I saw it on me when I update my sporting the situation on CFAX, and he says about Cassiano. We're laughing at. Eh?
Who brings it to you? The pig.
Check out CFAX every day. 330, I'll tell you. But Frank Cassiano, Steve said about him, he's got an amazing skill set with amazing skills. Well, is he going to be allowed to use him skills? And then defensive wise, you know, he will intimidate the opposition. And so when we mention here now. Regarding the way Catalans play, is Cassiano going to be allowed to express himself? That's another question, isn't it?
What's interesting is the way Toulouse played and the quality of try that they scored, which looked typically Gallic, if there is such a thing. Yeah. The way that Catalan are playing at the moment is up and down the middle, which is not what the fans there are used to.
Well, do you know what? I was listening to the radio yesterday, and one coach, and I'll mention him. He was very open and honest about his players' performance at Batley against Bradford, right? And for me, it sums up the way 3 teams are playing in Super League, the way that the train, and so the way that they're playing, and exactly what Matt Diskin says about Batley is happening with Catalans, it's happening with Leeds, and it's happening with Wigan, and it quite simply says we're training like Tarzan, but we're playing like Jane. And do you know what? The open honesty what Disco gave yesterday, I thought to myself, do you know what, Disco? One thing what's going to happen here, if the players hear this, they will sulk about this. But there's nothing wrong with open honesty. Sometimes players have to be told the truth from time to time.
Dave Furner got stuck in after the game. We'll talk about that again after 7. Yeah.
But the point I'm saying is here, sometimes coaches have to say, hold on, deep down, I'm not responsible for this performance. And sometimes coaches are not responsible. I will not blame coaches week in and week out. But as we'll talk about after 7 o'clock, what I saw with the highlights of that defensive commitment from Leeds on Friday night, maybe the coach has tried to do a little bit too much, and the players don't understand it from there. But the way they are playing like Janes, and so are Wigan, and so are Catalans.
I'd say there's nothing wrong with playing like James. Women's Super League coming soon.
Well, some of the women's Super League teams have beat Leeds the way they're playing at the minute. But anyway, we'll move on.
Can I just say, by the way, I'm hoping all these broadcasters that Discovered Women can talk about Rugby League this week don't used to use them once.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
It's almost like it's a gimmick, isn't it?
Yeah, almost. Anything else you want
to add? No. I was just trying to see because I'm looking now to see if I can find an old.
Well, it's BBC CFAX died when in 2012.
2012, yeah. I'm just trying to see if we can find an old.
Oh, the CFAX is still on. I'm looking at it every day.
It's not called CFAX anymore.
Yeah, it hasn't changed since 2012. The headlines are still the same.
Oh, teletext. Is it called teletext? Is it teletext? It's called now. No. Anyway, that's my information.
Right, so we've discussed Salford's big win. The other big shot. You know what, Bilko, our big Wigan fan, said to me last week. He said, "You want to back Huddersfield next week? They'll beat Wigan." And I'm like, "Nah, they won't. No. Wigan lose again. Wigan in crisis scored 90 points in 5 games.
Buy the t-shirt.
They've only conceded 93, so defensively they're all right. But they ain't winning games and they're getting worse.
Well, listen. You know, like I said again, where coaches are making excuses for the players, and a couple of quotes from Adrian Lamb, what I've seen is, we might be having a hangover from last year's success with winning the grand final. We might be having a bit of an hangover from the World Club Challenge. I just don't buy into it. One little bit. The players have had a full pre-season. They were ready for that World Club Challenge game. You know, so, and the fixtures what Wigan have had, and no disrespect to London and no disrespect to Huddersfield, if Wigan could have handpicked any opposition to play after the World Club Challenge, and no disrespect to London and Huddersfield, they would have picked them, wouldn't they? Anybody that had to play away, yeah, great, so we're going to London, and then his next game is against Huddersfield. So I don't buy into the excuse of what Adrian Lamb is saying. What Adrian Lamb has got to do is quite simple. He's got to say, Mr. Lanigan, hey, listen here, stop this interference. Because I'm sure, there's no doubt about it, Mr. Edwards will be on the telephone day in, day out, regarding what's going on at Wigan Rugby League Club. He will be.
I wouldn't say there's any interference now. I think what the interference is, if we can use that term, is that budgets have been tightened, players have been sold, signings haven't been sanctioned. I don't think there's any day-to-day interference. It's not like in the football, you know, at Leeds United when the Chileno used to try and pick the team. I don't think Ian Lenigan's doing that, is it? But you know, those players are underperforming. It's as simple as that. But how long do you keep selling your best players before you ain't got any players that are good enough?
Right. What we said was last season when this was announced, when the ridiculous decision to get rid of Sean Wayne, which has been
Newcastle Thunder director of rugby,
which has been absolutely ridiculous to getting Sean Wayne. And we said it last year, didn't we? Where this is going to do is going to cause total confusion with a playing squad. Like realistically, who's in charge? You know, Lenigan can't wait for Edwards, you know, to take over Wigan. This is a stopgap with Adrian Lamb from there. So really, the players themselves, they're not going to get relegated. You know, even though they are playing absolutely garbage at this moment in time, but they're not going to get relegated. So really, it's a season where, when you may say that word transition, but one thing for sure, the Wigan fans won't accept that. And Lenigan has to take massive responsibility of the upheaval, what is happening at that club. And as you laughed earlier, Mark, and as we mentioned last week, you know, Sean Edwards coming to the Wigan Warriors. Is he definitely coming?
No, he's not. He's not.
Is he definitely coming?
No,
you know,
he's not.
So again, the upheaval, what's happened to that club, you know, whether it's right for the players to take it on board, I think, well, you know, if they're making decisions realistic what we don't agree with, well then, you know, we may not start.
Sean Edwards is a really highly regarded coach in rugby union.
No two ways about it.
Who is clearly trying to get himself another job in rugby union. Is he going to want to go to a side that are going to struggle? Let's be fair, they're struggling at the moment. Yeah. Is he going to want to go put his name to that? Because people are going, he's been out of the game 20 years. He's going to be able to do it. He's going to be able to do it.
But also as well, I think I know Sean pretty well from our playing days. You know, not just playing against each other, but also with the national side and being around. You know, Sean Edwards is a very, very single-minded person. Sean Edwards is a person who realistically will be seriously on the players' backs. From a team point of view,
he strikes me, Scott, as a team. If you give him the tools to do the job, he'll try his best to do it. And if he can't do it, admit he can't do it.
But then, secondly, as players, as individuals, they will get that single-mindedness. What's made him the player what he was, what's made him the person what he was. And to be honest with you, Mark, knowing Sean like I do, he might be too deep for these players. Do you know what I mean? I know Sean Wayne brought in the philosophy where yes, it was always going to be hard graft. But under Sean Edwards, the Wigan players, day in, day out, they are going to be after thinking about rugby league 24 hours a day. That's the sort of person he is.
I think the first thing is to commend Huddersfield.
Oh yeah.
And that there was an absolute brutal honesty from Simon Wolford the week before about the resilience of his team and how.
Do we not need more of that film from coaches?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about Leeds after 7, that's exactly what they're missing at the moment, that resilience. So, but he was open and honest enough to come out after the whole game and say, well, the second half performance wasn't anything in any way acceptable in terms of the effort that his team were putting in, which I thought was, you know, almost critical to the point of saying, actually, if you don't get a reaction, that's putting you in a really difficult place. But it got a fabulous reaction. And that the Huddersfield defence and the scramble for each other was what won them that game. Something that Wigan don't have at the moment, and clearly Leeds don't have. So I think full credit to Huddersfield, because again, none of us predicted that they'd be able to turn around such a terrible defeat at home, where they didn't look like if they'd played for another 80 minutes they would have scored any
Yeah.
more points. To turn that in within 7 days to a defensive commitment is a absolute massive credit to Simon Wolford and his staff. That said, the worry for me with Wigan is it appears they have spent the full salary cap this year. So they can't...
I didn't think they had.
Yeah, apparently they have. And when you think that they've lost some of their highest earners, but yet the squad that they've got out there at the moment, which looks really thin, and not a lot of things they can do to change that, they're in a hole if they are spending the full salary cap.
Mm.
What can they do in the short term to change it? What can they do in the long term? You know, the George Williams situation that we said last week, and obviously it went viral on social media, his comic mistimed missed tackle in the game against Huddersfield, which must have happened to a lot of players. It was picked up on camera and obviously went round the world. But something needs doing with the George Williams situation. It needs settling. It clearly, I don't know whether it's unsettled just him or other people. Morgan Escaray, who was brought back into the team, doesn't really seem to know where he's playing at the moment. You know, he's signed as a fullback before Zach Hardaker's taken on. Has a bit of a run in that role. Looks good. Everybody's saying, that's some, he can build into that position now. He doesn't look happy coming in as a makeshift winger. I don't know where we're going to go over the next couple of weeks with how they change it, because every week the pressure is ratcheted up because of the expectation. That's something that it's nothing even to do with form. Sometimes it's to do with confidence. They go to Warrington this week. Now, obviously a repeat of last year's grand final. You look at Warrington have kicked on with the
Warrington
signs.
Warrington are ready.
Oh yeah. Then marketed this
Friday.
as
They're ready. Yeah, they're ready.
But you can see that Warrington took on board where they were last year and have already tried to take steps to rectify that. Wigan, to me, and it's hard to say for a team that are the defending champions, just seem to be going backwards. And I don't know how Adrian Lamb stops that. I think there's a fear factor around clubs like Leeds and Wigan that the longer poor form goes on, the pressure of the shirt, because of the weight of expectation.
Absolutely.
You know.
Oh, absolutely.
It takes a special sort of player to be able to just handle that.
But also as well, let's just analyse the three sides then, because the week before, right, when you look at the performances, Wigan got embarrassed at London, even though London played very well. Nothing wrong with that. London played very well. Leeds the week before, Wakefield played very well. Leeds got embarrassed by Wakefield, and then also too Huddersfield, they got embarrassed themselves, right? Wolford, he says exactly what he felt and said it about his players without resilience. Do you know what? Wolford got a reaction from his players. Them players who had seen the comments, I would imagine from the coach, from Wolford would have said, you know what? We know where we're going next week. We're going to put this right ourselves. The Wigan players haven't done that, and the Leeds players haven't done that. So again, that is telling me a little bit. That is telling me the coaches at this moment in time, but you can see they're not getting the best out of the players, but are the players, even though it's only 5 or 6 games into the season, are they wanting to play for these two coaches? And I'm not envisaging anybody getting the chop, but as Phil has just mentioned there, these are the two biggest clubs in the game. These should be, with what they spend and the quality of players what they brought in, should be up there. But nobody's got a God-given right, by the way, as we know that to be at the top of the league. But the reaction what them two coaches got after embarrassing defeats at London and at Wakefield at home for Leeds, tell you what.
Well, we had a thing a few years ago, you probably remember it, Gary, as I was contacted by a media manager regarding some of the comments you've made about a team's performance, and I think you labelled it pathetic and embarrassing. And the media guys on saying, oh, this, you can't come and say, you can't be saying this, you can't be saying that. And in my understanding, it got shot at the players, and they went, well, it's right, what's the issue? It's right, it was pathetic, it was embarrassing. And well, then subsequently they turn it round and they produce the players know, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do, mate, of course they do,
absolutely. And this is what I'll level at Leeds after, right? If they'd got a Hull and lost by 2 points in a tight game, you think, well, that can happen, these things happen. That performance in the first half was not acceptable.
Right, but we'll get to that after 7, but talking of coaches and what they say post-match and the reaction they get from players, one of the people we admire the most, and we lauded him quite rightly the week before, Chris Chester and the way Wakefield played at Leeds. They've been beaten narrowly and perhaps surprisingly at home by Hull KR, bearing in mind the respective form coming into that game. Chris Chester's post-match comments are all about the referee. is that the right tone to be setting for getting a reaction from his players for next week? I mean, all right, there's 2 tries in the game. Both
we were there yesterday.
But surely the issues that will have happened on that field in 80 minutes don't relate to just those 2 decisions.
No. And my gut feeling was, right, and I might be wrong, we were on the side where Johnson's try got disallowed. I thought he went in a touch about 2 yards before the line, and the linesman was right there, and his flag went up before Johnson even jumped to put the ball in. And my reaction was, and I think Tom, it was almost like he wasn't sure where the line was, and he had to look at the ball, he had to look at the line, and he almost seemed to veer off a straight line, caught it, and then dived back in. He might have been, and the player, some of the media people after were saying, oh, it was half a yard in. Well, I don't think it was half a yard in, and I think he got the ball down, no issue with that. I thought he was in touch before he got to the line. Whether it's a knock on at the other end, would a video referee even show? I don't know. We were watching it on the little screen on the camera.
But what I'm saying is, whatever the reason for the defeat, and some of it might have been the conditions, surely over the 80 minutes, does a coach go in and lambast the referee for the 2 decisions that perhaps determined that final score, or does he look at his own team's performance of it and say, why are we not consistent enough going from one week to the next?
2 things. He probably should have spent 10 minutes stood outside talking to his own media people before coming in, and then he might have calmed down a little bit, like OKR did. But that's an issue for Super League to sort out. 2, you were sat on commentary, I was sat next to you listening to you. I think you were praising the referee. And then
I thought he did all right.
The only issue for me from the referee's performance is, and you know, at Bellevue, you sat right in front of the most rabid fans in Rugby League, certainly in terms of the where they're sat in front of the commentators. Even worse than the South Stand, may I say. The only issue I had, and when I checked it out, there's nothing on the RFL website I could find to work out what actually the rule is, because maybe it's just been made up, is the team warnings.
Yeah, he put on a team warning.
30 seconds later they get
30 seconds later.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything, and that seemed quite a problem. But for me, they had enough ball.
Yeah,
and I think yesterday, if Chris Atkin had been playing for Wakefield would have won that game quite easily. I thought Kyle Wood had probably one of his poorest games at dummy half. He had a lot of ball, and he seemed a little bit indecisive. We've come to him being very good, and they haven't got a reserve hooker, so he's playing 80 minutes. He's doing he's working his bits off.
That might be the issue, though, isn't it?
It might have been a 7 instead of an 8, but that was, to me, was the difference. There was a couple of times that they've got Fafita, and if they look, all the defenders are sucking on him. Just pass it one wide. The guy walks in. They could have done that 3 or 4 times. I think when they look at it on the video, they'll go, "We could have done better there. We could have done better there." They had enough ball to win the game. They didn't win the game.
Hull KR shut down Bill Tupu, as you would expect them to, because the week before he'd been exceptional.
He didn't even get the ball, Phil, to be fair.
So what were the halfbacks doing for Wakefield yesterday?
No, mate, the win was horrendous. Because who is it? In the first half, Hull KR passed the ball about 10 yards, and it blew up. It was a simple pass to Drinkwater. He went to catch it, and it blew over his head. Honestly, it was ridiculous, the weather. So you couldn't throw it around. It was all quite close to the...
Hull KR did enough to cope
with
the conditions.
They won courtesy of a drop kick. That's how they won. That was the difference. The other one, Dagger and the young lad Oaks, caught everything that went up in the air.
So, to me, Chris Chester coming out and saying Tom Grant's refereed us twice, and I don't know,
I'd be more saying, Chris, you were 12.5 point favourites at London and you got beat. You were 12.5 point favourites yesterday, you got beat. This is a criticism I'll label at Wakefield now. When the big favourites to win games, they don't win. It's a mentality thing for them. Me.
The weight of expectation went up because of the way they played at Headingley, which was superb. You have to. It's what you always say. It's consistency. You have to back that up. You're playing a team who you're expected to be at home. Yeah. That's a different pressure.
Sheens admitted in the presser after, didn't he? He said, look, we're glad at the conditions. It levelled it up. He said, because we've got big problems defending on the edges. And he said, but you couldn't throw it around today. So that suited us. It helps us how the game had to be played.
So again, surely you change the way you play to suit the conditions.
I don't. I think if it had been 6-all yesterday, which it looked like be, or 6-4 or
I have to apologise.
No one would have been. I think you'd have said, no, that's just how it was. It's one of them games.
As soon as I tweet out, I can't remember not seeing a try here at Bellevue before, and then, but never mind.
Yeah, well. But, so for the ref, I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he did all right.
But all I'm saying is we've talked about how well Simon Wolfe has done with his honesty, which has got a reaction. Yeah. Should Chris Chester be blaming the referee this week, or look into some of the deficiencies in his play.
Why didn't they, why when they were 6-4 up and they got a penalty in front of the post, why didn't they kick it to go 8-4 up?
Tim Sheens did.
You know, and that might have been the difference. You don't know, do you? I was disappointed with Wakefield. I thought everything conspired against them, but you say that. Bulkare lost Greenwood, done his ACL after what, 20 minutes, half an hour? So they were playing with 16.
As well, didn't
Yeah, he did.
Which no one saw.
No, we didn't see that. No one saw it.
No one saw it.
We were at the game, everyone was like, because Chris,
Maguire?
where's he gone? Yeah, he got Simbin at the end.
That was the point I tweeted in the game, that he's not allowed to referee anymore because he's left Leeds, but I didn't realise he'd been Simbin for dissent.
Oh no, that's a bit harsh.
He said today.
All these captains and ex-captains have never tried to referee the game, you know.
But if you look on the Rugby League's official match review panel findings, the word is used, dissent. So, tough.
Fair enough. He said he asked the question, so...
What the question was, though, might have been a question like his teammate the other week.
I'm sure it wouldn't have been, or he got sent off.
Exactly.
There you go. So, James Greenwood, by the way, done his ACL. He's out of contract end of the season.
He's out for the season, is he?
Well, he's done his ACL, so I would imagine.
Good player as well. Been playing right, hasn't he?
So that's disappointing for him. People were telling me this week, I can't defend their own line. Well, they defended it pretty well yesterday. I know they didn't get asked too many questions, but they still defended it pretty well.
Andre Savelio, good signing for Hull. Talking of players who are out,
talented player. He's a talent, but he's an unproven talent. However you look at it, you know, there's another one that's gone to Aussie and hasn't made it, and he's coming back.
Well, he hasn't made it because he did his knee ligaments very early in.
Yeah, but he's unproven, isn't it?
I don't mind him. I think he's all right. I like
good signing for Hull.
Yeah, I liked him when he was Saints. In small games he had at Cass as well. I like him as a back row.
He's got talent. We know that.
He's like a Philbin. You know, he's the same stocky build as Philbin.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good signing for the Black and Whites.
You mentioned
Blacks to
Philbin.
promote the ball.
I think Philbin's one of the most improved forwards in the game at the minute.
We'll find out.
Keep your tweets coming in at 4020 Live. You can keep your Facebook messages coming in and YouTubing as well.
Thomas is on the YouTube and says the quicker they bring in 2 referees, the better the game will be. Well, they're not now, are they? Because Super League have said we're not. And
so Robert Elston, who said, "Oh, we're going to have 2 referees."
2020. It's
No,
happening.
we're not having 2 referees now.
I mean, I'm shocked this week because apparently
You could almost press that.
Yeah.
couldn't you? For two
What
referees.
the bull button?
Yeah.
We've got this one, the bull button.
apparently apparently. We've gone down that road now. Listen, we've learned that in Rugby League media you have to do things like that to get attention.
That'll get us an extra 500,000 people, won't it?
I've already got them, I think.
I mean, the example, we've gone over 1,000 now, so hopefully we can have some adverts soon.
So sadly, we're going to go off now for 10 minutes while we play all the adverts.
The exciting thing, Mars. The exciting thing. Oh yeah, everyone send us any free stuff as well. The exciting thing, of course, this week is people in Rugby League have discovered that viewing figures exist. Now, these have existed since when television happened in the 1930s.
Right.
But now we've discovered that people watch Rugby League on TV, which we didn't know before.
Right.
Figures have been released that show Rugby League is watched by people on television, say 2-bit Rugby League people on Twitter, who just regurgitate press releases and think that's journalism. But
that's actually good news. The Sky viewing figures are really good news because the way Sky will determine what contract they will offer us in 2 years' time is now purely an economic thing. There used to be a relationship between the people at the top of Sky and the people at the top of Rugby League, which was partly based on the fact that they liked the sport, they wanted the sport, they needed the sport to fill the summer part of their schedules. It's now a purely economic calculation. That's partly to do with the cost of football and the cost of Formula 1, and the space is now at such a premium that the only way they will fund other sports is the revenue it brings in based on the number of people that are viewing certain products. So the fact that and the press release said we're 25% up over the first 4 rounds of Super League, including a really big figure watch Leeds and Wigan, over 240,000, which was more than any other game last year. 230,000 watched the opening game of the season between Saints and Wigan. To be presenting that to Sky at the moment to show that the sport is getting more people
Yeah, but
watching,
hold on.
that's important.
45,000 watch Wakefield Catalans. It's a draw of Wakefield on the telly.
Yeah, have we? We did preload the fixtures. Are we getting a little bit carried away just yet?
I just think anything that shows a significant increase in viewership is worth
Yeah, but that's got to be. You can't go over a 4-week period. That's got to be over 12
Are we
weeks.
also-
I think that the initial figures that are released over the first 4 weeks of the season are an upward trend. I think that's really important for negotiating with our principal broadcaster.
Do we take away the games that people haven't watched to make the figures look better?
The issue then is, and the digital figures seem very good as well. I don't know how you measure those, but 15.7 million people.
Our digital figures are very good though, Phil.
We've got 1,000 on Facebook.
Well, actually,
on YouTube.
If you use the new figures.
If you only took Afghanistan,
yeah.
we are the most popular.
Well, we can do that now
show.
because when you broadcast figures, you can leave things out. Can you imagine going on The Apprentice? We've come for a new TV deal. Oh, great! How are the figures? Oh, they're brilliant.
Well,
no, they're brilliant. Look at them; they've all gone up. Have they? What? Even no London? No.
That's not the viewing figures. That's the attendance.
That's the attendance figures.
I think.
But listen, bear me out. So you go, you're out. The attendances have gone up. What? They've gone up even with London. It's simply.
I think.
Oh well, no, we didn't put them in. Why not? Well, we thought they'd make the figures look crap, so we just left them out.
I think
that is the biggest load.
Well, when you get to pressing that, it's not the viewing figures on television. I think that is something we should be seeking to
that's good. But
maintain.
But
the attendance, to then put in the same press release, that attendances are going up if you don't include the team, would make them go.
This.
Well,
people buy
that's
this.
like me saying to you that. But for the 20 minutes when Leeds were abject and woeful,
I actually tweeted that. That was my response.
They actually beat Hull.
Yeah, if you don't include the points Hull scored, Leeds won on Friday.
The time when they were really poor, they won.
Just think as well, by the way, 12,000 at Hull, 9,000 at St Helens, and 10,000 at Wigan at the game. So, there's 20,000 there at 2 other games that might have watched that game on the telly if they'd have been at home and there had been another game on. So again, we've got to look at that and think we need to stop playing games when the TV game's on, because that's one way to inflate the figures, even if it's by 20,000
I
a
think
week.
There's another issue as well that we need to look at. We need to look at gaps in the other sporting calendar.
Yes.
If we're going to start the season ridiculously early, and we're going to clash with so many other sports, then there has to be times in a week where we are the primary watch. Now, I think Thursday nights are not great for fans live at games, but they are good for television viewing. So your only other real live attraction is the darts. So it doesn't make sense in a fortnight's time when the darts are in Leeds to have Leeds on at home on a Thursday night. So if we can tailor some of our fixtures to time slots.
Well, I said to you, Wednesday night last week, there was when the Champions League on, so Sky have got no football. There was no league football they could put on. And people go, oh, well, you can't play on a Wednesday, you can't play on a Wednesday. If two teams would have played the week before on a Thursday, for instance, one of them could have played quite easily on a Wednesday, midweek, get it on the telly, big feature game, really build it up, build an audience.
But
I'm just saying, though, they need to start looking at that.
Change the fixtures a week before. You look at the other sports before you kick off and just say that week or that week we'll have a Sunday afternoon game on Sky because there's no other. The football season's finished and
there's a reason why the World Grand Prix and the Grand Slam of Darts are both in those specific weeks in the calendar. It's because it's international week and no one likes international football. Super League was the most watched, 3 of the most watched programmes on Sky Sports Arena in the last week of figures, 3 of the top 4. And when you add in the figures for Sky Sports for the Catalans game, actually more people watched the Saturday 5 o'clock game, which would have been the Warrington game, I think, than watched the Friday night game, which was, I can't remember.
Leeds and Wakefield.
Leeds and Wakefield. Oh, maybe. I've said Wakefield. People watching Wakefield the other week, and it wasn't. It was Saints and Salford, and that was rubbish. So there you go.
But if we're serious about getting another television deal of value, and we keep saying to Sky the figures are going up, perhaps we need to be a bit clever about scheduling some of our fixtures when there is nothing else competing with it.
Just to correct Warren on YouTube. I am not the most pessimistic, negative figure in all sports journalism because I'm not a journalist. Here's one.
Thanks for getting in touch. Robert Elston. Been in his job a long time now. Is he... What is he doing?
I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes. We know he's putting a staff together. The digital figures would say we are at least trying to attract a newer, younger audience to the sport. I'm not sure that... the shot clock necessarily has changed the way.
As the shot clock now is almost defeating itself, because we had it the other day where they're already after 15 seconds and they stood around for 20 seconds. So it almost needs tinkering with already, doesn't it?
It needs changing to 20 seconds.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, you know, and we mentioned it with NFL when they run on with the kickers and they all get ready and kick it in 6 seconds. You think, no way you could do that.
Is it 35 seconds too long?
You
can see now they just stood there
I'm not
100%, 25 maybe.
I'm not even 100% sure as fans that we see enough of either the shot clock on the screen or even in the stadium that we know when it started and when it's likely to be. I mean, there are referees shouting shot clock off before the ball's even gone into the scrum.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not sure that they've had a huge impact that's changed the nature of the sport. I think it's down to the way Salford have played and the philosophy they're playing with that we're getting excited about at the beginning of the season. I don't know what he's done other than a couple of things that he said he was going to do are clearly not now going to happen. Like,
well, this is what I mean. There's big quotes coming out, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and none of it seems to be happening at the moment. I'll say at the moment.
I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I think the most important thing is the television deal, and there may well be already moves towards at least giving us a better chance of getting a deal by having him involved in potential negotiations. I just think he needs judging at the end of the season, not so close to the beginning of it.
I'm not judging him. I'm just asking. He's been in a long time now, Phil. He's been here. He's approaching nearly. When did he come in? Was it July or something? Last year. It was before the 8th.
I think Magic's a big one for him. I think it has to show an increase in attendance by moving it to Liverpool. I think we've seen some really good articles about the sport in the North East. I think we've seen some real positive signs of participation in the North East that isn't even matched in some of the more traditional areas. I think they feel really aggrieved that they've had Magic taken away from them.
It's a disgraceful decision.
To do that,
it's a disgraceful decision.
Anfield has to break attendance records.
And has he been in touch?
But I haven't seen any ticket
Has he been in touch with the guy at Newcastle?
I've not seen any ticket sales, but
has he been in touch with the guy at Newcastle? If he's trying to get Sean Wayne or Dennis Betts into his club, right? This guy's not messing about, is he? He's paying out. How much does he pay at Newcastle? $5 million a year salary cap in the Premiership.
I think the other thing as well is, and let's not forget that he is employed by 12 chief executive stroke owners of clubs who all have different aims and objectives, which is almost impossible a job. He really needs to be more of a benevolent dictator. But none of us have seen or heard the plan for where Super League goes over the next 2, 5 and 10 years. We don't know what's happening with perhaps bringing new teams in, what the philosophy is to generate things like more television income, which might come from, I mean, let's look at Toronto and Toulouse. 6,000 people on a Saturday afternoon in Toulouse on a game that isn't shown anywhere against a side that has no discernible away support in terms of major numbers, but clearly a huge level of interest and attraction behind it. Is that not something that Rob Elston should be looking at as part of his blank sheet of paper as to where the sport goes? Now, I haven't heard any of that discussion. All we've heard is, we're not really sure about Toronto, and we're not really sure about clubs that have a single owner. Well, that's most of them. What is the plan for getting, getting a second team?
I'll tell you what as well though, Phil. You look at that figure yesterday that gave Toulouse and Toronto, both of the teams aren't even in the Challenge Cup, which is ridiculous, isn't it? Disgraceful.
Yeah. No, it is. You're right. You're
disgraceful.
Right. 100%.
It is.
But again, you haven't got somebody who's overseeing everything. So, in answer to your question, I don't know, but it's too early to judge.
Okay, no, fair enough. I'm just asking a question. I'm not overly convinced, if I'm honest. I don't. It's all right putting all these press releases out. Great. They've front-loaded the fixtures. We know that.
Yeah.
So let's see a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
And don't put a press release saying the crowds are up when they're not up. That is just falsifying information.
That is like, again, the asterisks on you can have a free bet, and then you read the asterisk and you go, well, no, you can't actually, because we're not giving you any money, and it's Tuesday, and it doesn't include Cheltenham, and if there isn't any racing in Newmarket, tough.
Mark says if it's broke, don't fix it. I'm just trying to fix the microphone.
All right, you broke the microphone over.
I know again.
That might be me.
That
might be me. I might have brought the wrong one.
His wire out. Apologies for the buzzing anyway.
Terry said shot clock's been a big success for dropouts, which was the worst area that needed cleaning. I would agree.
But I think
you
you could have cleaned that without a shot clock. I think you just say, look, the referee,
Yeah,
the
has
referee's
he
giving
done
you
what
20
he's done
seconds.
there? What he needed to do,
I don't
hasn't
know,
he? He's done
but
what he needed
it's a
to do.
cosmetic change, is what I would say.
Yeah,
You know,
but
we-
I think
we-
that one has worked.
We
I'll go with it.
said there are still two issues at the moment. One is deliberately rolling the ball into a defender who's lying behind the ruck, which I thought we'd eradicated. And the other is players now who are being tackled holding on to their tackler and winning penalties. You know, so we've solved one problem. We've still got two others.
And players diving as well.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, I mean, I don't want to name names after we, nearly got thrown out of Huddersfield, even though we've not been. But there's one certain Wakefield player, and I'm not going to name him, who certainly milks things at the play of the ball. He wears pink shorts. Him.
Not the cult figure.
Not him, no.
I think
it
we
was
found
that wire,
it was that wire. Apologies to the... you're going to break the post, but apologies to the buzzing.
Like Hull fans in '95. Are you allowed to reference that anymore? Is that
2000.
2000, sorry.
Yeah. If you're going to
Apologies.
criticise them, do it right.
Play up the cream. Hull are back anyway.
Yes, it's nearly
Which
time.
is bad actually because they're playing Wakefield this week.
Hold on. What is going on in this bill? You've got a lot to talk. The clock doesn't work now.
No.
Where's our shot clock
You
gone?
can buy Leeds in Crisis clock, by the way, viewers.
That's it.
I bet they've taken the
7
back
o'clock.
out.
7 o'clock. The
Ticket.
tea's here. The tea's here. It's 7 o'clock.
Is the tea here?
Steve this
Who
week.
is it? Who is it this week?
Steve.
Steve who?
Steve, the one who Tim Sheens was about to ring, and Chris Chester. Hopefully they've got through.
Oh,
to
Steve
him.
Ganson.
Yeah, Steve Ganson.
Oh, Steve
Ganson.
Ganson.
Hello to
Yeah.
Neville
Time for a
Metcalf,
cab.
Mr.
chairman
Ganson's here.
of the Hong Kong Rugby League. He loves Forty20 magazine. Tell
Very
Phil.
good.
Says Lawrence.
Very good.
New one out this week.
You went out on Friday.
What's
The
happening?
artwork.
What a great cover as well. I'm not. If you haven't seen it already on social media, it is on there. But what a striking cover!
It's like a
I'm being rich on it.
And you'll love it if you're a Cas fan.
I'm being rich on it.
No, it's a striking.
I spent the last half an hour trying to find an old. Because what people are doing these days,
Your cup's here, look.
like I'm saying, people
are idiots.
they're like me. Old videotapes, which you may have got somewhere, you may have thrown them out.
Hundreds.
People are going through them with the finest of electronic technology and recovering old teletext pages, which may seem like a pointless thing to you and I, but they were the newspapers of their day. You remember newspapers? Used to buy them. And I've been looking online because people have been archiving teletext pages. I was trying to find any reference to Scully and I can't find any yet. So I'll try and put a request in there. If they find any, we'll get one up.
I found a picture of you in a programme the other day advertising upholstery.
Oh, I've got that one. I've got that.
Sat there with your shell suit on and glasses.
I think I don't think it's on this laptop. It's on my other laptop.
Really?
I do have that picture.
If Scully was a player now, I dread to think what products he'd be advertising. In fact, tweet us in. What products would Scully be advertising?
It was an upholstery place on Kirkstone Road. I've had a good thing about.
Does your
Right,
doctor
we see
know?
it.
Does your doctor
I'm
know
like-
that you're on your 10th caramel flat?
I'm lying on the sofa there, and when you look at my shoes, that's a big hole. That's a bit. I think it's on my left. It's a massive hole. It's all his shoe, and it's there advertised this company. I thought to myself,
Professional.
Had you turned up in your company larder?
I didn't have a company ladder.
Oh,
I
by
didn't
the
have a
way,
company ladder. No.
all the people trying to get to read shout outs to people who.
Yes,
We're
yes.
not like them. Oh,
No,
no, professionals
no.
here. We're professionals.
Oh, I don't know. We're taking adverts.
So, hello to Hugh.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Phil, that company gave me a lovely dining table and 6 chairs. Give me a great deal on it. Yeah, lovely.
Think of your pair of shoes.
I know, it would embarrass. Big Ollie, so much shoe.
Stay with us, viewers. I may have that. If I don't, I will put it up on
I've
the
got it. I've
Twitter.
got it.
We'll find it. We'll get it.
I've got it.
We'll
Oh,
get
no,
it.
what, so what do you think I'd be advertising nowadays anyway?
Oh, I dread to think. I dread to think.
Gillette? Hairspray? It's a bit hard.
I think just eat to be right.
No, it'd be just 8.
It's a bit harsh. It's
Just
a bit
8.
harsh.
Right, anyway, it's that time. It's 7 o'clock. It's a weekly thing,
Oh.
you know. Have we got any theme tunes?
I've got Scully on his sofa. I found it.
Oh, what?
I'll take this up to the camera. Well, just for the viewers.
Scruffy self.
Well, it's scruffy.
I know. What I don't understand is why didn't I go in the shell? So why didn't I have a jacket on or something?
Got his feet there.
Anyway, is it the same one? Oh yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Look at this technology. On proper TV, the flash.
All right, take it down. Take it down.
Right, okay. Speaking, well, hey, one thing with the hole in it, Scoey's shoe. Let's go on to Leeds defence. Seamless. See what we did there. Well played Hull. Well played for 20 minutes when they won the game. Leeds 10-0 up inside 8 minutes and got absolutely blasted on Friday night. That, Phil Kaplan, even you cannot defend this.
Well, you know I didn't on the way back. I think the word resilience is one that we've already used tonight. Leeds just don't have it, particularly on their own line and when they go behind at the moment defensively. They conceded, was it 5 tries in 17 minutes? Didn't have the wherewithal to stop Hull even getting possession, never mind shutting it down once they've got it. Whereas in previous weeks you've been able to obviously look at a side where perhaps they've been deficient on defence. This was left, right and up the middle. A shocking 20 minutes, which David Furner didn't hide from, called it a car crash. They look at the moment like a team that when they go behind, there isn't a leader out there that is galvanised. And Gareth Ellis came on when Hull were down, and immediately the whole team lifted. It wasn't solely down to Gareth Ellis, but having somebody like that being able to come on when things aren't going your way, really important. I think what Hull have done over the last 3 weeks is what Leeds now need to do. They need to jag a win from somewhere, which Hull did at Wigan. They then built on that at Huddersfield. They built on that. You could see the first 15 minutes, Hull were the team without confidence. That they were knocked twice on the right hand side. And you thought, how are they going to recover from this? But the fact that they'd had a couple of wins, that they had a guy who could come on and just say, look, we know how to win matches now. We're not going to succumb to this.
I was impressed with Minicello and Manu, who I queried why have they kept them. I thought they showed on Friday why they've kept them.
And I'm not going to defend Leeds, particularly Tuilola here, who I think you would identify as being a guy who had one of the poorest 80 minutes we've seen for quite a while. But I would say that there are some Leeds players who are just trying too hard. I look at Trent Merrin, who for some reason on a lot of the Facebook pages is becoming a scapegoat. 52 tackles. That's not a lack of effort. It might be misplaced effort, but it's certainly somebody who cares. And Conrad Hurrell, who clearly not everything is going for him at the moment. 160 metres, the leading metre maker.
Yeah, I thought he did all right. I thought Jack Walker played well as well.
So there are individuals that are exonerated, but as a team they cannot fix things at the moment.
He mentioned, he got asked, you know what I liked about Friday is he got asked some honest questions and he came up with some good answers. He came up with the answer. He answered the question. You know, our colleague John Davison said, you know, about feeling the pressure and what did you make of it, and he said it was a car crash. He said the result was down to players not being prepared to bend their backs and tackle. Discipline was shocking. Put the shoulder in. They were awful, Gary. 5 tries. What was it? 20 minutes, 19 minutes, or something.
Yeah,
5 tries.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of it, and to be honest with you, pathetic, wasn't it? But let's have a look at the game so far this season. Against Warrington, 4 was too soft. Against Wigan, they were in the game for a while, but I wouldn't really say the scoreline reflected Leeds' performance. They weren't bad. St Helens, great for 25 minutes. And then to embarrassment, go to Salford, surprisingly win. So you could see from the Wigan performance, their St Helens performance, something was developing at Salford. We didn't expect Leeds to win there. Certainly
not by that margin.
So certainly by the amount of points, and then embarrassed by Wakefield, and then embarrassed by Hull last Friday night. So there's certain issues there what the players have to address themselves, and the coach can only say so much. You know, it can only say so much. So them players, as individuals, have got to take a long, hard look at themselves. And if I'm honest with you, and I know I'm in the Rumbles, one thing for sure, what Kevin Sinfield is doing, he's been open and honest with these players.
Open and honest when he saw us in the services, what he gave us a big swerve after the game.
But what I'm saying is, and full credit to Kevin, and I applaud what he's doing, he's been open and honest with these players as individuals and said, hey, listen, this ain't good enough. And if you don't start performing this year, your future at this club, Your future in this club won't be happening.
Can I just, Mark has said Hull's best 20 minutes of football for years, and all he's saying is how bad Leeds were. Hull were brilliant, and half-time saved Leeds, because it would have carried on. If it had been another 20 minutes, they would have scored 50. But also, and I'd question, Hull, why didn't you score 50? In the second half, you weren't very good. And let's put it into context, right? Hull have won 3 on the spin. They've beaten the bottom 3 teams in Super League. That doesn't mean you're brilliant. They were good for 20. They were really good. They played some great rugby, backing up, scoring tries, looked brilliant. But I didn't say that in the second half. And I know the game's won.
There wasn't a killer instinct that the great teams have in the second half.
I'm not going. Someone said to me, "Oh, I think Hull could win the Super League." I'm like, "What? How do you look? They may well win it, but they've beaten 3 really poor teams. Let's see if they beat a couple of big teams, a couple of good teams first." You know, so the jury's out. Hull were great, don't get me wrong. They fully deserved to win. Never looked like losing after that first 10 minutes. But any Leeds fan there would have been looking at that game and thinking, this is worrying, because this is a defeat that we don't see.
There was a real naivety as well about Leeds not being able to stem the flow of possession that Hull had in that purple 20 minutes. It was almost as if we kick off, we concede. We kick off, we concede. There was no attempt to even try and slow it down.
Spoil things. You
know, even a short kick off to try and win the ball back, just to stop Hull having possession.
Right.
There was a real, I think, tactical naivety about that.
When you look at that performance as well, and when I saw that second half try. Well, that was absolutely pathetic, wasn't it? When I saw that try,
and they did that twice. There was one earlier, Gary, right? Where I forget who it was that kicked it. I don't think it was Schneid, because it was on the other side of the field. Shaw chased it 20 yards out, and the ball was too deep.
Kelly's kick.
He might have been, and he dived. He missed it. There was no Leeds player. The Leeds players in the defensive line just turned around and went, I was going to score. It's too fast. So when
we're talking about design and purpose, it certainly wasn't there in that performance.
It's not.
And when
it was for some of them, because
you can't afford
that you can't solve things individually.
You're sticking up for them again. You're sticking up for them again, right? So when I saw that try in the second half, when you're talking about desire and when you're talking about purpose, it was absolutely pathetic, and I was shaking my head and I was thinking, you professional rugby league players at least make an effort. This Friday night, them players, this Friday night, right, if some of them don't believe what a pressure cooker situation is, they will find it out on Friday night, because, Mark, right, simple situation is here, the pressure is on them players. It's on them players. I know some of these, a lot of the speculators are saying the pressure's on Ferner, they want Ferner sacked. Well, I'm not blaming David Ferner here. Not at all. The players have to take responsibility. But on Friday night, them players are going to realise what a pressure cooker situation is, because hold on, they're playing London. London are coming there with no pressure.
Absolutely.
London
will come there, Matt. London will come there to express themselves.
I spoke to Wardy, and he says, look, we've identified, we know where we can get them. But the one worry I've got about this game, and I think it's a double-edged sword, it's either a nightmare and they get beat, or it papers over a lot of craps, because Leeds, you've mentioned it, I think the flat track bullies. At Wigan, opening 10 minutes, they come out, played great. Then as soon as Wigan went, hang on, we're not having this. Right, so turned it round. Same at Leeds, same at Hull on Friday. Same at Saints. Played great for 20 minutes. As soon as St Helens forwards came out, they don't. You know what? The forward pack don't make enough meters for
the forwards don't get ripped in. But what I'm saying is, Matt, right? If London on Friday night go 6, 8, 10 points up, them fans, they will know exactly what they will know. They will know. Them players, what them fans think of them. So the pressure is on from when they get to the ground against London.
My worry is though, if they start well, they could blow London away. I think it'd just paper over a lot of crap.
They need to make a couple of changes as well. I think there needs to be more competition for places. For all that, there are some new players in there. I think we've seen virtually the same 19 picked every week.
If Callum McClellan doesn't play this week,
so what was up with Lola here then? What's the situation?
He just had a game where he couldn't have done anything. His kicking was poor.
He was awful.
And the more the game went on, the less effectual he became.
He's been brought as a main playmaker. He himself said he wants to be the main playmaker. Can he handle the pressure of the number 6? Can he handle the pressure of the number 6 jersey at Leeds?
I think perhaps this week McClellan deserves his chance in the standoff role.
What I would say about Lolly, he didn't hide. He still
No,
kept taking the ball, but it just, I won't say the harder he tried, the worse. It just seemed he got worse. It was like every time it went to him, something went wrong. And they're chasing the game, 2 passes from the wing to the middle of the field, and the guy gets in the middle, don't know what he's doing with it. And he goes, don't even look to the side where he should have 3 backs. Here you go, lads. It was like, oh, I'll run that way. Or I'll pass it back to you. And it's like, well, I don't want it.
They haven't got a kicking.
They had ball in the second half. Hull were on their own line for quite a lot of that second half. Never looked like.
So there's no communication, no organisation.
It was dreadful.
There's no direction. There's no leadership then.
That I have to say, right. There's been some dark days for Leeds, right. That was far worse than that defeat at Castleford when they lost by 60. It was far worse. It was. I'm not sure. No, it was because it was I'm going to say it was a gutless performance. It was. If you're going away as a Leeds fan watching that, there are no positives you can take out of that. There are none. They were awful, Gary. They were awful. You know what? As much as I enjoy Leeds losing, I was actually it was like. You almost feel like you're picking on someone that can't defend themselves, honestly. They were that bad. They were that bad. They were awful.
I think you can exonerate certainly Jack Walker from that.
I said Jack Walker and Hurrell.
The tackle.
I thought they played very well.
I thought Aletsky was good as well. Again, he's a young kid who I don't think can be.
Walker made a tackle.
I was just saying, Minicello.
10 yards out from, he was full steam, stopped him dead in his tracks. And then the next tackle, Kelly dances through 5 tackles. And Jack Walker must have just gone, what the bloody hell am I doing here?
Walker gets up as if to go, I've saved you there, lads.
Everyone in the ground went, whoa, what a tackle. He didn't just tackle him, he stopped him dead, didn't he? And it was like, right, come on then, Leeds, what have you got?
And that's the resilience on the line.
It was like, what are you doing? Oh mate, it was honestly. I think you'd have been crying. I think if you'd have seen it.
We've upset the Hull fans because we're not giving them enough credit. Dave.
Those 20 minutes, they were
brilliant. They were brilliant. And if it had been half time, they'd have scored another 20 points. But my question is, why didn't they do that in the second half?
Those 3 teams won't finish in the bottom 3. Give Hull some credit. You're supposed to know the game.
Fair point. All right.
Yeah, but hang on. But when we tip Leeds to finish in the top 5, people say, "Oh, Leeds won't finish in the top 5." So you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
They're either crap or they're great. You can't have it either way.
Look, there were some really positives, and I've come out and said I thought Manu and Minicello were great. I would have, if I'd have been in charge, I might have been looking to move them on. I thought Minicello was brilliant.
I thought Kelly was great as well. He's clearly getting his feet after being out for a very long time, and if he can stay fit and as hungry as he looked on Friday night, because again his contract's coming up for renewal, he'll be a massive asset for him.
I just think you can't judge Hull on that. If Hull beat Wakefield this week, and I don't know who they've got coming up, but assuming it's a Warrington or a Cass or a Saints, and they beat them. Then I'm thinking, right, Hull, real deal. But you have beaten 3. They might not be going to be in the bottom team, but there's a big thing when you play teams at the right time. They played Wigan, who were gone, as Huddersfield have just proven this week. They played Huddersfield, who were there for the taking out one a game all season. And they played Leeds, who are in crisis. You've got to back that up and do it against big teams, informed teams,
that's what we've been saying about Wakefield as well. That they did it against Leeds at Headingley because they had every motivation to spoil a party against their biggest rivals, but they couldn't then back that up at home against a team who, on paper, they should have beaten.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
So that's how you measure.
Yeah. Talk to us on Monday, and if Hull have done, if Hull play like they did in the first half, but let's be fair, when they went 10-0 down, if Leeds had out about them, they'd have put the game to bed in the opening 20 minutes themselves. They didn't. And it's not anti-Hull. It was, Hull were great for 20 minutes. Second half, they scored 4 points. 4 points.
Also as well, Phil, you mentioned about the size of squads and this sort of thing. So Leeds, as bad as what they are at this moment in time, right, and players should be dropped. What quality have we got to bring in there to make a difference?
Well, Carl Ablett pulled out of the warm-up. And I think they need experience at the moment out there. They need a head that has seen it, done it, and if you go behind can say, look, doesn't change anything, this is how we're going to play and this is why we'll get the ball back and this is what we'll do in the next set to make sure that we stand. They haven't got anybody that's doing that at the moment.
No.
But an Ablett possibly...
What about the experience what they've got out there without Carl Ablett? Look at the experience what they've got out there.
I haven't got a huge amount of experience of
Hold on, no, come on, no, you can't have that. All right, let's go. We're going to name names. And by the way, Karen's just got stuck into this. If we beat Wakefield, are you going to say they were rubbish as well? No, because I think Wakefield actually quite a good team.
Speaking of Karens, another Karen who supports Hull Says you can only beat what's in front of you.
You can.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, they did. They played well for 20 minutes. Let's not kid anyone that won the grand final playing
Stephen's asked
that
a question
8-minute
here.
performance.
Well, he's not asked a question, he's made a statement. Here's a statement from Stephen. There's nobody to do the tough stuff at Leeds when the chips are down.
That's it.
That's
it.
the experienced
That's
head
it.
that I'm talking about.
Well,
an Ablett or a
all
Jamie
right then.
Jones Buchanan.
All right then. Okay. Petteru, big signing from the NRL.
Not a big sign. Not a big money.
So,
And has played for the Gold Coast.
just go through, Matt. Go through, Matt.
Matt Parcell,
Yeah,
won a grand
Parcell,
final,
yeah,
won a grand
Parcell.
final
Go
with
on,
Leeds.
yeah, go on.
But not a natural
Good
leader.
young player.
Yeah,
No, he's not certainly not letting anyone down.
Go on.
Brett Ferris,
Correct.
Liam Sutcliffe, been at Leeds for
Correct.
years now.
Correct.
Still don't know what his best position is.
Go on, keep going.
Okay,
Keep
Alex.
going. Yeah,
Adam Cuthbertson,
keep going.
Brad Singleton,
Keep going.
James Donaldson,
Exactly.
and Brad Dwyer.
So there's no leaders
There's
there.
no kid. They're not
There's
kids.
not many.
They're not kids.
There's not many natural leaders in there. There's not an Ablett or a Jones Buchanan.
Right,
Sure,
okay.
well,
Okay.
well,
Well, all right then. Well,
I
I'll
would-
go through the whole pack just to say that I'm not biased against Hull. Mickey Pear, didn't really notice him. Yeah. Houghton, fantastic, played well. And I queried him, questioned him what he's doing. Brilliant, back at his best. Matongo, I think he's superb. I really do rate this
him and
kid.
Oledzki was a great battle.
Yeah, Minicello was brilliant. I think, you know, if you played like that every week, you know, roll back the years. Sekamana was great. Westerman fits at Hull. Westerman just fits.
First half was
He's
great.
got his
When they
he's got
played
his
really
Scott
mojo.
Taylor,
He's got his mojo.
well,
outstanding.
Leeds couldn't bring a Scott Taylor off the bench.
You know, Dean Hadley, Gareth Ellis, say no more. You know, Jordan Thompson, you're not good enough to play at Leeds,
There's
but
some-
he gets in the whole team
There's
that
some
batters
leaders.
Leeds.
There's some leaders
Well-
on. When you bring Scott Taylor and Gareth Ellis off the bench, that has a material impact.
Shouldn't someone...
What are you going to do then? Bring Kevin? Is Kevin going to do a full
No,
Jamie
I think-
Peacock
I
name
think-
himself?
Jamie Peacock might do a full Jamie Peacock.
I think Ablett, hopefully, is fit to play this week, and that could make a difference.
Surely someone in the Leeds group, as they say these days, should be sticking their hand up and saying, look lads, we've got to sort this out. Whether you're a natural leader or not, just
I
someone
think
saying,
Trent
"We've got to
Merrin
do
will
this."
be doing that, but it's early after 5
But it's
games.
all his fault, as we know.
6 games, Phil. I think you're fine.
It's early in his Leeds career.
They're
and I think
20% of the way to the season.
Yeah.
Leeds. They've won 1 game.
that's why I think they need to bring in one or two different names for this week.
So I'll ask
But
you the
they need
question
to
I think I
juggle
asked you
it.
last week. Why have they gone out and spent all that money on 3 players when clearly they needed 6 or 7? And I watched Kopchak again yesterday. And
Well,
Bruff didn't have his greatest game. Craig Kopchak would be the best forward at Leeds by
Let me-
100 miles.
Well,
I
I'll
think
give
you're
you-
judging it too early.
I'll give you
Well,
that.
Craig Kopchak played for us 10
I
years.
think Leeds' recruitment this year is good recruitment. But I don't think we've seen anything of it yet.
So why, if it's good recruitment, why do they need more players?
I think they need one big player, which is the guy that they're seemingly going to get from Crunley.
Oh, that guy we can't pronounce. Ava, something or other. That,
And I think they've known before the season started that they were short of that one big player, and they have been looking for it.
you mentioned Craig Kopchak. You also
But
mentioned...
they're also full of the salary cap, and you can't just sign people. You've got to move others on or get some room within it.
Well, who's missing from this team? Watkins didn't play.
Watkins did.
JJB and Ablett. Who else is missing? Stevie
Ward.
Ward.
Yeah.
To be fair,
big
it's a
miss.
rare that he.
But it's
he
this
misses
the
more
way
than he plays.
the way he started this season, big miss.
We started this season.
The first games this season, top tackler, solid in the middle.
You
They
mentioned,
do miss him.
you mentioned Craig Kopchak, but in your commentary as well yesterday, another player you mentioned at Wakefield who just does the stuff as a forward is George King. Just runs the ball up.
Yeah, him and
Nothing
Arona.
fancy. They just get the job done.
Arona's great.
They just
Yeah.
do their job.
Big fan of Arona.
But these are all players Leeds could have bought.
Not superstars, are they?
I think they are missing some leaders at the moment.
Well, why didn't they go
Some
out and get
natural
one?
leaders. Well,
Why
I
did they
think
go out and get
Merrin
one?
will be a leader. I think the fact that he's made 52 tackles in a poor performance tells you that he cares. But I'm just
You shouldn't have to make 52 tackles.
well. I don't see any problem with him making 52 tackles as long as other people are making enough to support him, and they clearly are on their own line.
This is a
the
serious
sign of
question.
a
I've
team
said this
sort of
before.
resilience
I've
is
said
how
this to
they
you before
defend
about
on their
Trent
own
Merrin,
line.
right? I don't watch the NRL religiously, so I don't know what Trent Merrin's strength are. You tell me if we sign Trent Merrin, what does he do?
I think he is the guy that will give you 100% effort for 80 minutes. If
Gary would give me 100% effort for 80 minutes if he
Is it
pulled
he?
on a Leeds shirt.
Gary
Or
didn't
maybe
make,
18.
Gary didn't make 52 tackles in his career.
Even that won his job.
But that is Merrin's
job.
job.
Don't tell me
That
he
is
works
Merrin's
hard.
job.
That is the worst. You know, that is the
He is
worst
a good
excuse
player.
ever.
He is
He tries hard.
Kevin Henderson tried
I
hard.
could have got 10,000 out of the crowd
He's
if
a
they tried hard.
quality player because a year ago he was playing for Australia. That tells
That's
you his
what is he? He's a big bustling front row that drives it.
He's
Because
a-
if he's seen
He's
him
a
break a
hard
tackle.
working back rower.
So he's a back rower.
I think he's a back rower. In the current game, with less interchange, he's a back rower.
I hope we see more of it. I think those that have absolutely
I think
hammered him
he's
is
a scapegoat.
wrong.
At
I
the
think that
moment,
is
he's
wrong.
a scapegoat.
But
He's a
here's
great
what I want to
player.
ask you, Gary, and this is one we've mentioned before. Leeds have been renowned for players on same kind of money. They've all stayed because they want to play for Leeds. Probably not got money they could have got elsewhere. Right? 2 players have come in there on probably double what most of those lads are on. When you're sat down getting told off by your coach, are you not looking around going, I've played better than him and he's on twice as much money as him. Why are you not telling him off more than you're telling me off? I just don't think it sits well.
You'll get that.
I think they've gone about this the wrong way.
They'll get that, but bearing in mind, there's some average players in that Leeds dressing room who are on decent money, I'll tell you.
But that's what I mean. I think they've spent the money too soon on big. I like Hurry.
I had a couple of, and I won't mention the players, but I had a couple of figures today on 2 players. And I'm thinking, you are kidding me. You know, so
are those players that aren't playing or are playing?
Yeah, they are playing. Yeah, they are playing, and I say it. But at this moment in time, they are just not putting. They are not putting the shift in. They are not putting the bodies on the line. There is no purpose. There is no desire. And I say for 25 minutes against Saints, it was good. For Wigan, you might say 20 minutes. Salford, yeah, it was good. Wakefield, embarrassing. Friday night was embarrassing. And I say David Ferner, yeah, he can only prepare them from a point of view from there. But now, them players, as individuals and as a team collectively, they've got to start taking responsibilities for their performances. Because if not, I'll tell you,
Leeds are like his glasses knackered. Half of them just falling out.
The pressure on the players, Friday night, and if they go behind by 6, 8, 10 points, them players will be in an atmosphere they won't like and something that it won't be used to. Because I mean the fans at the moment are getting a little bit impatient. And one thing I was delighted with regarding the comments from Friday night were quite simple. I'm glad I didn't hear that word transition. We're still learning. We're still giving players time. We're still in transition.
We have got amazing transition t-shirts available next week.
The performances are good enough. Well, the next 2 fixtures after London is Catalans away and Castleford.
Well, speaking of
Don't get any easier.
Because we need to talk about good teams now. We say all the people on social media. I'm off to Leeds on. You see, the people don't know there's a difference between this programme and my Twitter feed and when I actually go do a job and go report on games. That's a different thing, you see. Because I love everything. Andy and Sue say, Cass may have had between 8 and 11 players injured. Yeah, Hull had 12 players injured, but I recognised every single player in their squad yesterday, which for me is quite an achievement. Cass have had 8 and 11 players injured so far and still sitting second. Stop the excuses, Phil. So you're all glad Phil's back. You're all bullying him.
Cass had 5 of their first choice pack missing, or 5 of their match day 17 missing from their forwards on Thursday night.
And that's resilience that Leeds don't have, because Cass should have been beaten by 40, but actually finished the game stronger than Warrington.
Yeah,
and
possibly.
What Cass have got, what Huddersfield had this week, what Salford certainly had, is what Leeds don't have at the moment.
But Phil, why haven't we got it? They're playing for the biggest club in the game. Why haven't the players got it? They're in the comfort zone. They're in the comfort zone.
No, you know what? There's something badly wrong at Leeds. There is. That performance, Gary, there's something wrong.
Yeah, but listen, Mark, right? Nobody's been dropped.
Well, like I said, if the King McClellan, and you were saying something play, if he does not play this week, if I'm Callum McClellan,
how did the other half-back play on Friday night? How did Myler play? And don't say he's behind the beaten pack. How did he play?
But he was.
No. Safe. He played safe. It looked neat and tidy, but it was never doing anything. I'm not being rude.
Yeah, but also, do you know what I want to see from half-backs? Because I know I did myself loads and loads of times, and you know my players who I play, we got fed up with me. But, you know, if it weren't going right, I'd be getting ripped in. This is what halfbacks should be doing. Hey, listen, you donkeys, come on. Have you seen what they're doing? Have you seen what they're doing to you? Get ripped into them. Do you know what I'm saying?
If McClelland don't play this week, I would be, if I'm him, we know his age is, I'd be back saying to Craig, you need to get me in this team, otherwise I'm going. Because if he's not better than what they've put out on Friday,
surely.
He's got to play him. He's got to give the kid a chance.
Mark, but what I'm saying is surely, right? Surely it doesn't take an agent to make a phone call to say, you need to be playing my halfback. Surely not.
Well,
because it's there for everybody to see.
Got a question for Scotty.
Isn't it? It's there for everybody to see.
Because Scotty knows all the referees I've ever been. Here's David. Met a lovely chap Alan at the cricket ground in Grenada whilst on holiday. Oh, David, send us some money. Turns out he used to be a rugby league referee, telling me he once sent Kelvin Skerritt off. That doesn't narrow it down, does he? Anyone know his surname? Referee called Alan from your era.
Was there a Givens? Alan Givens from Alden?
Let us know on social media. Graham's a Fev fan, because we haven't mentioned the Featherstone Rhinos yet. Hope Mary doesn't come on DR. Oh, that's a bit harsh.
He can't, can he?
Who's that?
Anybody can go on there. But
No, I thought for your international. Oh, can you as an international?
I think
Anybody can go on dual reds, can't they?
Fair enough.
I don't think Matt Campbell will be happy.
Robin says they dropped Cam Smith, who I thought made an absolute scapegoat. So we need a scapegoat 13, don't we? He made 40 tackles playing stand-off out of position. As we said last week, we were not blaming Cam Smith.
Who was making 40 tackles as a stand-off?
Cam Smith last week against Wakefield. It was not his fault that he was playing.
And you know, it's a stand-off, me. And to say, if I made 40 tackles a season, them donkeys will be getting, I'm telling them, be getting it. If I had to make more than 6 tackles a game, not on. Honestly. It's not on.
Well, you saw the bloke play with a broken shoulder in the grand final in the NRL last year. He didn't have to make 2 minutes.
You know, quite simply at Leeds, right? With the team selection, the way the players are going, it's not the right balance. The balance is not right.
We need to move on.
Yeah, Terry said something here, and he says, if you're buying a marquee player, it should be someone with a special talent, not someone who tries hard and does 50 tackles. We have plenty of lower paid players who can do that sort of job. But no one knows what, there's no criteria, is there? You can just say whoever you want to marquee player. This week, it's going to be...
Yeah. Well, I think you've got to, they need to freshen it up.
Yeah, but Mark, how are they going to freshen it up? By just bringing the half back in, really? Is that it?
We'll find out.
Is it not 3 or 4 players who deserve to be dropped to kick up the backside? Drop to dual reg? Or just drop totally, where they're not playing? Will that realising where they might have do the mirror test themselves, have a look at them and say, well, do you know what? Yeah, I should be doing a lot better than what I'm doing. Yeah. Are the players themselves taking responsibility? I don't think they are.
Well, the Huddersfield players obviously did.
I don't think they are.
No. You mentioned it, Huddersfield. Huddersfield have gone to Wigan and won, and that's a tough place to go. No matter, we know Wigan will defend. You know, you've still got to beat them.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Huddersfield, they went and did that. I think they've got lucky with London this week. I think they will beat London, and I think it'll paper over a lot of cracks. I've never been
I'm not sure.
as worried for a team, just in terms of how bad they were, Gary. So I'm not making out polls.
That Hull getting the win that they did at Wigan kick-started the 2 performances after that. If Leeds get a win against London, I'm not sure that is paper over the cracks.
I don't think it proves anything. I really don't. And I tell you what, if London go there and win, you will be on for 4 hours next week.
I don't know what confidence is in sport. I don't know why some teams have it, some players have it, and some don't. But clearly, Hull have discovered confidence.
Yeah.
Leeds could do.
You know what Hull had? They had forwards who ran it in hard, made the tackles, and they had some halfbacks that passed the ball.
Listen, just go
hard.
Hard,
before they won the game.
And direct. Phil,
Gareth Ellis coming back has been huge.
Phil, do you know what? You mentioned confidence, or you mentioned everything you mentioned. You go into Edinburgh at a stadium where it's the best in Rugby League. You go into Edinburgh where the atmosphere is going to be sensational. You go into Edinburgh where it's going to be a packed ground. Confidence is... When I spoke to you last week before the Wakefield game, I was bounced off the walls. I wanted to play that night. Yeah. I'm 53 years of age.
Well, if you honestly, when
I spoke to you, Phil, at 11:15 that day, I said to you, I'm bouncing off the walls. I want to be there tonight. I want to be at that event. I want to put the boots on. Why aren't the players
We've got to move on.
I agree.
We're done.
I agree.
Rubbish.
Even though the viewing
Warrington, good win over Cass. Cass hit by injury, we know that.
that game.
chances. How did
Yeah,
Paul McShane not score that try in the first half?
I tell you what, it just took me back
His
to the
hair
game.
getting his
You know,
eyes just-
with Cass, it took me back to the Kevin Beardmore, Bob Beardmore, and Kevin Ward. That's what they used to do. Literally 5 or 10 yards away from the simple little run around. The run around, you know, in Rugby League is still the most effective and best move in the game. And Macca, well, you could have caught him, Matt, to be honest with you, couldn't you?
I'd have been disappointed if I
But
hadn't.
that, you know,
It's like,
that maybe
what?
just giving that confidence from there. But Cass, they played all right, and the chances what they create, just, you know, they're a little bit lucky, really, weren't they,
Yeah,
to
I
be
thought
honest?
that.
Yeah,
And you
they're a
look
little
at
bit lucky.
defeats. Like Darryl Powell, we spoke to him after the game. It's on the Twitter thing. He was annoyed they didn't take the chances of creating, but I think inwardly he thought we've had a dig there.
I think
We've had a-
Darryl got more out of that defeat than he did at the victory over Hull KR the week before.
Yeah.
Where he was upset with the way that they didn't ram home their advantage or
Yeah.
play as smartly as he wanted them to play. I think, again, I keep using the word that the resilience they could have been beaten quite easily by 40 points.
Can I ask?
But they were the better team in the second half.
Yeah, I criticised Hull for not kicking on. Warrington went 20 points up. And they seem to they went 5 drives and a kick,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
thinking, come
Well,
on,
they did the same
I
against
want to
Leeds,
see Blake Austin
yeah,
running
first
the
game of the
ball
season,
over.
they did the same
They
against
didn't
Leeds,
do it,
didn't
and
they?
they
Yeah,
let
exactly.
Cass back
Yeah.
in, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden then, Gary, Cass were on top, they were starting to make tackle.
Well, in sport nowadays, the word is momentum, isn't it? And once you get that momentum and the other side haven't got it, then it's a massive change. So I would like to see, Warrington kick on.
Put the foot
But-
down,
but I-
absolutely.
but I-
40 on it.
Correct.
I think St Helens are doing that at the moment. I think they're reining in a little bit some
Yeah,
of
they
the
are.
attacks
Cost
that
me
we
4
know.
on
But
Friday.
yeah,
One more
finally
try.
got back.
they've only conceded, 4 points in 200 minutes of football. That's a ruthlessness. It may not be the expansive football that we at the moment are, but for this time of year, for the conditions that we're playing in, to be absolutely so rock solid on defence, that's the sign of a team that
Well,
is going places.
London's defence is better than Leeds'. Both having played 6 games, 170 points conceded
does
by
that
Leeds
sound?
and 52 by London.
London are a more resilient team. They're playing more for each other.
Just numbers.
We'll see if that's the case on Friday. We are there, of course.
Saints 5 from 5 now.
Yeah, well, it's just
Well, that's
really
the
talk
basic
about
thing.
Warrington a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah, steady away. I thought they did all right, Warrington. First half, they
What-
ground
what-
their way into it.
What do you reckon to Deck Patton? Because he's obviously got the chance now he knows that he's virtually going to be playing every week if he's playing well. Couple of kicks that were really poor.
Dolly
Couple
mixture.
of touches that were really nice.
Yeah, I would have
Is
called
he
it.
consistent enough?
Yeah, I would have called it a dollar mixture performance, if I'm honest with you. Because I say his kicking game was a little
I
bit
like all those.
poor at time, you know. So I would have said it a dollar mixture performance. But when he gets it right, he does some good things, doesn't he? You know. So again, you mentioned that confidence. But the good thing about it is that when I talk about half-back partnerships, Austin letting him do the responsibility. He's letting him get involved. He's letting him take charge a little bit, which I like with the balance what they've got from there. You know, so yeah, he's still doing schoolboy mistakes, which I wouldn't expect now from him because of the experience what he's got from there. But I guess he'll pick up on that and learn from that. But one thing for sure is when the pressure games do come on, he can't afford to be doing them sort of mistakes. It can't. The kicking game certainly. But overall, yeah, I'm happy that he's playing week in and week out. Obviously with injury with Kevin Brown, but overall, yeah. I'm pretty happy the way that is going.
Well, Carl said easiest Warrington win over Cass for a few years. Well, I'll dispute that. I don't think we were 2 years ago. They absolutely battered them. They put nearly 40 on them that night.
Cass are about to fall off.
Cass are going to fall off. Yeah, never mind.
It's a metaphor.
So, and Toby said, how do we think Cass were the best team? The second half, I thought last 20 minutes, last half an hour, they were the better team because Warrington
Took the
said,
foot off the gas.
we've got enough.
Yeah.
We've got enough. You're not going to beat us. Yeah, we've got enough.
Interesting that Warrington made a couple of changes as well. I think that Steve Price has realised that he's got to give his extended squad some game time.
No, to be honest with you, Phil, no, he dropped Ryan Atkins and he dropped Lyman after the performance against Catalans because they were poor against there. He dropped them. So he thought, well, some players deserve an opportunity. This is what Leeds have got to do. But what I'm saying with Leeds is have they got the squad, the quality to replace at the moment? But Atkins and Lyman, they were dropped because of the performance.
Andy Bibby makes a good point. Kevin Brown back in July. Well, they've got dispensation for him, so how can he play?
No,
I don't think he can play. I don't think he can play.
No.
If they've got
to
to use that money,
I thought he started to kill his tendon.
yeah, well, apparently he has. Well, Achilles injury, we don't.
Would he get back in the team?
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would. But
If they
there's a
haven't-
bit of a legality there.
If they
I
haven't
guess if they've
spent
used
their
it, won't
dispensation,
they? I presume they can
then
re-register.
presumably he just comes back.
Well, I'm the silent reviewing player.
Yeah,
but he
that's-
doesn't count on
he
the
doesn't
salary.
count.
cap.
Does he not?
No.
So,
All right.
Philip says rumour Cass after christening Inu.
I've heard that.
Well,
And they've been looking for a centre.
They do need a centre.
congratulations to Warrington Albert and whoever the other player was who've decided to seek
Sue.
legal advice
It's Tangata,
because
isn't it?
because they'll win, because no companies know how to do 2B properly, because I got a load of money once, so well done to them lads.
Did you? What did you spend it on? Obviously not your glasses.
When I say a
I'm
load,
going to get one of these.
that's when I know. That's when I went freelancing. I've got no money, so never mind. Andy says they haven't spent that money.
Oh, well, that's fair enough.
If they haven't spent it, you can come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they may not spend it because they've got an inkling he might be coming back. We don't know, do we?
Or they didn't need to spend it because they were invested in Declan Patton.
Do you think they moved the Challenge Cup final, Challenge Cup draw to Tuesday to not clash with this programme?
I think so, yeah.
Of the 1895 Cup draw. So
Why are all the draws at odds? So?
I
Can I ask you
well,
that question? Why are all the
perhaps-
draws at
perhaps
odds? You'll know, because your mate's there.
Perhaps they're going to win the double,
Well,
aren't they?
you
'Cause
just
they won-
answered the question.
Because they won
It's
the
easy to get to for everyone.
It's easy to get
for
six
some
or
people.
six. Yeah.
It's easy to get
Who
to.
live nearby.
Lee, we're going out for a curry next week, me and my mates.
Are you?
You want to invest in a business
You're not
opportunity?
paid.
Yeah, can we not come? We
Is
need
it
a word with
is it a
Nigel.
buffet?
What you're
We- we-
insinuating
we-
there for?
We were getting ripped into plenty, don't worry about that.
Well, if Nigel's paying, there'll be a big bill.
Yes. We're going out for a curry next week, me and my best mate. We are. Yes. Doing a great
What?
job.
How
Doing a great job at the international federation.
Okay,
Well,
well,
we
how-
have got. I mean, I know we probably haven't spoken in huge
Well.
depth about it, but the Oceania Cup and the Lions Tour,
Oh, yeah.
How have you not got a job with the RLIF anyway? If you're so,
it's only a matter of time.
could be like some kind of ambassador.
Northern
Yeah.
Hemisphere Development Office.
You never know. You never know.
You should. I told you should have tapped him up for a job. I said that to you. years
It's
ago.
coming. We need to send an
never
expert
know.
coach around all these development.
Has Remy
nations.
Chase signed for Doncaster?
Apparently, it's in the paper today.
They're interested in it.
Oh, is his ballot now, is it? Is it
It's
finished?
July.
Oh, right. Right.
Fair dues.
But yeah, great that we are nurturing Pacific Rugby League at a time when Rugby Union are pulling away
Yes.
from it. So
Yeah.
big feature in the new 4020 magazine.
Oh,
Out
good.
on Friday.
Yeah.
On Friday.
How do you subscribe?
www.scratchingshed.com.
Scratchingshed.com. There you go.
Click on the 4020 magazine.
Very good.
The links are on every video we put out.
Yeah, all right.
So,
Well,
Well,
I'm just asking.
I'm just saying.
You've
If
been like that for?
it's on YouTube now, it should be on there.
All right,
I
cool.
think.
Did we get to our magical figure?
Scratchingsheadpublishing.com. There it is.
Did we get to our figure?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're well over now. So
we're winning.
we're just waiting for Twitter to say, YouTube to say, yeah, you can have other bets, and we'll make thousands and thousands.
Well,
Alan
if
wants to
anyone
know
wants
about your Nigerian team scoring. What's
Oh,
happening?
this was tied up with the Rhinos, aren't they?
Have
Leeds
they?
Rhinos and the Lagos Rhinos. Yeah.
Have they tied up
It's in
on
the
that?
paper the other day, yeah.
There
They
you
sent
go.
loads of people there on Joe Redding instead to fail.
Well, I've no chance of getting a start then.
Ms. Mustafa's the ambassador, born in Nigeria, currently on loan with Dewsbury.
Robin said we've got to talk about Super Fev Rovers this week
Oh, they're done.
because they beat Sheffield.
Yeah, Sheffield's unbeaten when he's over.
It is.
As indeed is Toronto's, which
Yeah,
says again
that's
that
nice,
the
yeah.
Championship is a great division.
It is.
And what about York and Rochdale?
Or Rochdale and York to be.
What happens here? Because now, as far as I'm aware, the weather is not Rochdale's fault.
The problem is putting up the post, wasn't it? It was too windy to put up the post.
And it was still covered, and the pitch was still covered as well.
covered,
Still
yeah.
covered.
So
I
that
know
would
the
have taken
timing.
some getting. So why, if it's too windy, surely you could have still taken the covers off.
I know the timing's bad, but the timing's never ideal in these things. You can't predict the weather. It's like that Wakefield Huddersfield last- Well, no.
Yeah, but to be honest, Rochdale have not prepared for the game properly, have they? So should York be given the 2 points? I
Well,
think they should.
Rochdale have York have written on there.
Yeah.
York demanded the 2 points.
I think they should get them. I do.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I think they should.
you
So
know.
where does that end though? It's like the Wigan getting the points back thing. Where does it end? When is a postponement? At what point in a postponement do you get 2 points automatically? Or through to the next round of the
Well,
cup?
let's
What-
be
what's the game
fair.
of the cup that
When
was
you
off
look
this
at the witnesses' recent events,
Yeah.
then you look at that rescheduling of that fixture.
Fev the 2 points.
No, but you look at that rescheduling of that Wigan Widnes fixture and think, no, well, that might have been beneficial for Widnes to have that game at home rather than play it away anyway. So, I think Rochdale got an issue there. That you know, it's not. I'm not being rude. It's not like it was 10 foot of snow.
But this is the issue, isn't it?
I think they've got a legal claim to say, well, we're here.
exactly.
You know, and as far as I
prepare
know,
for the game.
on
You're,
Twitter,
yeah,
Rochdale
yeah.
said about 2 hours before the game, yeah, it's going ahead.
Yeah,
This is the issue with every club that doesn't own their
Oh,
own
it's all
facility.
ground. Yeah.
Yeah, York turned up there to play a game of rugby league.
Do we
Rochdale
think that even if a couple of players do leave Widnes, admittedly,
They've said
Couple
today
of
they're
their
not.
higher
They've said
earners.
today they're not going to lose any players, Widnes.
It can't be a statement from a club, can you?
No, they've come out and said they feel they can go with what they've got.
do we think that with their win at Barrow, which is another great win, considering that obviously it's a team that have been hastily pulled together, that they will get enough points now to save themselves?
Oh no, they're not going down.
You don't think?
Nah, no chance.
That
no
would be,
chance.
that would
They'll
be a
they'll be out of the
massive
bottom
achievement.
2 in the next 5 weeks, guaranteed.
That would be fantastic. They've got Bradford this week.
That'd be a
That's
big
big
interesting
game.
one, won't it?
They'll want a
Hopefully
big
again
crowd there.
another really big crowd.
Yeah.
Great occasion.
That's not on the app though, is it?
I don't know.
No one knows what's going on with the app.
I don't know.
It's a game people want to watch.
Mm.
Mind you, on telly this week, of course, because Hull KR and Catalans is on telly on Sunday because Toronto Batley's on after it at Craven Park.
Very good.
The
So
new home of
we've
Toronto.
got an extra Super League game because of Toronto,
Across of Toronto.
which is great.
Evil Toronto.
What
Hull
do
Park.
they bring to the sport?
Exactly. What do they bring?
Brian McDermott's new look.
Shaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well done to Featherstone, who beat Sheffield 32-14. Should we be worried that Halifax got the lowest crowd in the Championship?
Well, they had over 2,000 then, though, didn't they?
No,
Well,
1,343.
1,300 was 2,000 last week then, wasn't it? 2,000 last week.
Playing Dewsbury.
And in the top 5 as well, Halifax.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. It worried me, that figure, 1,300. I was a bit, I don't know. I just thought it was a poor gate.
No, everything's
I
great.
don't know what the people of Halifax want to watch, but I would assume if they've got a team that is in the top 5 of the Championship, that perhaps more of them would want to go.
It's like, if I'm honest with you, it's like the Huddersfield fans at the football stadium. Halifax Rugby League fans don't like going to that football stadium. Again, that's why they stay away.
Tough, isn't it?
It's sad.
You've got nowhere else to go.
That's why they stay away. Exactly, Rich. There's nowhere else to go, but
I think
they
it's
won't
just-
go there because it's giving money to the council and it's giving money to the football
If
club. They
only
won't
they
go.
were called Blue Sox, it would make all the
Yeah,
difference.
I'm just looking at though the attendances, and this has completely passed me by, and I know what people are going to say, but last year's league leaders only got 5,000 against London, and I know London aren't going to bring that many. That's irrelevant because, as we always say, it's about the home crowd drumming off a crowd. I think Warrington are playing in London in a few weeks. The kids are in for a quid or something. Warrington's marketing, their social media at the moment is completely brilliant. Why anyone's slagging it off for winding Wigan up, I don't know. But surely Saints should be getting more than 5,000.
9,000.
9,000.
9.
Oh, it's just 5 in my paper.
9,000.
9,000.
Oh, apologies. That's what I shouldn't read this paper, should I? Apologies, St Helens.
9,009.
Hey, Rich,
Still a worrying
Rich,
crowd, though.
Rich, the on glasses, take the lenses
Oh,
out.
Yeah, you
Right.
read better without them.
well, as it says there, 5,090. Apologies, St Helens.
It does, it should say
Apologies, St Helens fans.
9,090, it says in
Apologies.
the other paper.
I should have questioned that, shouldn't I? But apologies.
But even less than 10,000
Yeah.
for a team that is playing so well at the moment. That's a worry.
Well, now I feel a fool. Well, you wanted
Well,
to
join the
go
rest of
10,000 as well. Many people say it's Thursday night, won't they? But I'm sure Cass took a few along. I don't know what crowds are up though, apart from at London, because they don't count. But there you go. Elsewhere in the Championship, Lee won again. Beat Swinton 30 points to 12.
Apparently Danny Richardson was the star.
Bradford beat Batley in a repeat of the fake Yorkshire Cup.
Jordan Lee won the star for Bradford.
There you go. League 1, Hunslet 2 from 2. They keep going. Well, there was no games in League 1, were there? Because we're all in the Cup. So I don't even know why I'm looking at the League 1 table. But well done to Hunslet. So it's Hunslet and St Helens are the only unbeaten teams in Rugby League right now.
Yeah, there you go. What else do we want to discuss? What else is
I
happening?
don't know what
on
happened in
the-
the Challenge Cup because I don't watch the.
So when's the draw? When's the draw
Tomorrow.
Andrew Bullman at Whitehaven scored 6 tries
There you
in
go.
their huge victory
That's why we've got the
over
Whitehaven
Wigan
shirt.
St Pat's, which is a joint club record,
Well done.
along with Vince Scriven,
Vince Scriven.
who you will remember.
Vince Scriven, yeah.
I've got me.
Played for Great Britain.
He did. He
So
took my spot. Well,
Just thought I'd mention that.
yeah, he took my spot. Yeah.
85.
85 at Headingley. Him and Carl Gibson.
So the
Morris left me out.
amateur teams that are in then: Featherstone Lions, Lock Lane,
Up the Lions.
West Hull, Thatto Heath Crusaders. They're in. That's
Draw
it.
tomorrow, 6 o'clock.
Who's doing the draw? Do we know?
Robbie Hunter Paul and
I've heard of him.
Simon Foster.
All right, so Trevor's lad.
Yeah, good stuff.
I didn't watch any of the games over the weekend because I was out.
Right.
But even again, with the best one in the world, I'm not that interested in watching two teams I've got no emotional attachment to and I don't really know anything about.
Right.
Might be
Fair
a bit harsh,
dues.
but anyway, commentary out, so I don't care.
Yeah, it's
What's it
well
like?
played, Doncaster. It's that magical time of the week again when we do our predictions.
Where we show just how little we know.
I can't wait for when we do.
Yeah, but when we get them right, no one mourns.
No,
It's only when
no.
you get them wrong. And bear in mind, right, we're doing them on Monday. We don't know what the squads are, what the weather is.
The likely disciplinary, which is going to see.
So how did
Carolina
we,
Town
this week?
back
And I got 2 right. That's all I got. What did you get?
I know.
Hang on, I've got the
3.
table up.
Oh, I reckon I must be top. now.
Did you go for Warrington to beat Castle?
No, I'm still above you by 2 points.
That was
I
like.
thought I were top.
No, you've been like third for a couple of weeks now.
Out of 3.
It's because I got Saints to win, but I was close with Saints. So I said 28 and it was 26.
I said Saints by 26. Didn't
Well, I said. Oh, 34.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I write these in as you say them. We're
Yeah,
all
I know.
crap anyway.
I
just
know.
like
Anyway, we're all
Huddersfield.
rubbish. Right. Speaking of rubbish, Gary. Huddersfield are taking on St Helens on Thursday in the Betfred Super League. Saints unbeaten, Huddersfield unbeaten in the last week.
Yeah, well, Wilford certainly got a reaction, didn't he? He asked for that resilience and he got it against Wigan. Wolfie Shaw said, tell us it's a far better outfit than Wigan out at this moment in time. So, Wolford, again, will be asking for that consistency, but you just feel as though Saints, they're just, at this moment in time, the best team in Super League, consistently pretty good. Roby will be back, he got rested last week. So I can
Still got 3 points, man of the match.
well, why not? But yeah, I just feel as though Saints are playing too good at the moment, even though Huddersfield, good win against Wigan. I'm going for St Helens by 13.
Of course, the other thing we don't know is what the weather forecast is going to be, which can have an influence.
So we need a weatherman on the panel, a
Well,
weather person. on
I
the panel.
suspect that it's not going to be great this week, I think, from the
It's got
forecast that I've
to
seen.
rain, yeah, it's got to be poor all week.
So I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I just think Roby back and the fact that Saints are so miserly on defence at the moment that they'll just have enough to edge this. I'm going Saints by 6.
So what did Scotty say? I wasn't listening.
13.
13, thank you.
Drop the old special.
I've gone for Saints as well. So apologies Huddersfield fan, but by a bit more. Saints by 18 because they've they're 5 from 5 and they're unbeaten, and Huddersfield have beaten Wigan.
They've had some really tight games, these two, haven't they, recently, in the last few years. I think this will be tight as well. The conditions not going to be great, I don't think. I am going to go Huddersfield to get beaten, but only just. Saints by 2. Hull against Wakefield. I think this is one of the games of the weekend. Hull against Wakefield at Gary Schofield.
It is, and well, Wakefield always do pretty well as well there, don't they? They always, seem to get up for the game. And certainly the big forwards and Fafita for the last couple of years has been pretty good at the K-Con. So Wakefield, the surprising lost against Ulster Rovers from there, but they enjoyed going to the K-Con. But you just feel as though Hull, 3 on the bounce, looking for 4 on the trot, looking to keep that momentum going. Gareth Ellis, as we've seen around the place, has made a massive difference. I just feel as though the Black and Whites will keep that momentum going. I'm going to Black and Whites by 16.
This is probably the most difficult to predict of this weekend's fixtures, I think. Because there clearly is no great form line, particularly for Wakefield. You don't know what you're going to get from one week to the next. But I think what we have seen with Trinity is that if they have a poor performance, they have hit back the following week. And I think that is a sign of where they are. I think they'll be really annoyed that they've only got 4 points at the moment this season. And if they are going to hit the top 5 and repeat what they've done last year, I think this is a game that they've got to win. So I'm going to go Wakefield by 8.
I think it's going to be a close game. I'm glad I'm not going because I don't want to mount any of the steps at the K-Con. I'm going to go for an away win just because I have to do, really.
Hold on, you picked Leeds the other week, so don't give me that rubbish.
But that was reverse psychology, so I wanted to see Leeds lose. Minus Wakefield by 4. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be exciting. Danny Bruff's going to win the game this week.
Okay.
Maybe.
I am going to go. I'm going to go for Hull. I think Hull will back up their performance this week. So all those people that were mourning, I won't give them any credit. I think Hull will win. You're right at your point. They do have a habit of losing games they should win, Wakefield, but they do generally bounce back quite well. I'm not so sure this week they will. I think it'll be really tight. Hull by 4.
One of Scully's biggest fans, very happy to see that he's picked Hull this week. So,
Okay,
thanks,
fair
Harry,
enough.
for that.
Leeds
Hull.
against London,
I picked
the
Hull.
relegation derby.
By the way, I picked Hull
Not
last
for
week
London.
as well to beat Leeds by 14. Boy, oh boy. Oh, jeez. Jeez. I'm trying to get excited and I'm trying to...
You could be playing.
66.
I'm trying to defend what I'm seeing at this moment in time. And in the word last chance saloon for these players, boy oh boy. Do you know what? Because London, they're just going to come and express themselves. London are going to come with a smile on their face. And London are going to come and enjoy this event. Can the Leeds players handle the pressure? Because the pressure's going to be on. The pressure, the atmosphere at that ground, when they walk through them gates, they're going to smell it. They're going to smell it. They're going to taste it. Because the fans want a response from what they saw last week at the KCOM. Am I going to get it? Are we going to get it? Can the players handle the pressure? Do you know what? I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
See, we're psychology.
Huh? I don't think they can. You know what? I'm going for London by 7.
What?
7!
Seven!
Get that picture back up. We'll be back up.
Oh, Gary, what are you doing, man? Phil?
Leeds by 10.
Yeah, I think Leeds win. At least by 8. As much as, you know, obviously.
You're not convincing, are you? You're not convinced.
Obviously, I'd like it to be the other way. But
Just come on and say what you think. London by 52. No. I think home advantage will win it this week. I think if this were at London, London would win. I'd have no doubt about that. But
I'm telling you, man.
and I want London. I'm
telling
not
you.
going to lie. I want London to
It's a
win.
pressure cooker situation
Yeah,
on
but
Friday night. Can
I think they
handle
have
it?
shown, even in some poor games, that in 10 minutes they can take a game away from you. And I think if they have a spell where Hurrell gets 3 tries in 10 minutes, I'm not sure London can cope with that. That's if it's 0-0 after 20 minutes, then it's game on. But it's the first 10 minutes I worry about. I'm going to go Leeds by 14.
Benny says it's a 16 start in the handicap, but he doesn't say who's got it.
Hey!
Big Jim Mills has gone for Leeds by 20.
Yeah, I've gone 14.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Never mind.
Warrington, Wigan. Gary Schofield.
Warrington are going to batter Wigan. They are, and as you mentioned at the start of the show, that Warrington have been building for this. You know, they know what happened in the grand final, and I think Warrington, yeah, they have been taking the foot off the gas. Certainly performances throughout the season. Last week they did it against Cas, first game of the season against Leeds. Warrington want this. They won't take the foot off the gas on Friday night when they play. This is easy for Warrington for me. This is Warrington by 24.
I don't think it's ever easy against Wigan. And I think Wigan are at their most dangerous when they're completely written off, as we've even seen in certain playoff games. But
They've no Sean Wayne anymore.
I just don't see what Wigan can bring that is going to turn this around at the moment. The only thing about Leeds and Wigan at the moment is they are consistently poor. So I'm going Warrington, but I think it will be a lot closer than that. I'm going Warrington by 8.
Right where Scully is right now, you'll see the Wigan badge, and I'm going to change that to the Wigan in Crisis t-shirt. This is for the people watching on Wednesday, of course. I can't do it now. Buy your Wigan in Crisis t-shirts from the programme. Got about 3 pence from each one. Warrington by 14. I think it could be more, but like they did last week against Castleford, they eased off, didn't they? And
Yeah, but
what if they do the same again this week?
I wonder half if they eased off with this week in mind.
I think they partly eased off because they've been in Catalan 5 days.
Yeah,
So
I think Wigan will raise their game a bit for this, but I also think this is one Warrington. They've had an eye on this from day one. I think they're going to want. This is marker territory. This is.
to show it's their year.
a wolf weeing in the corner, marking out his territory.
Yeah, fair enough.
Andy says they were saving
I
themselves.
wonder what that guy was doing over there. Warrington by 24.
That's what I've said.
Same as Legends.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, no, fair enough. I did. Sorry, I missed. Right, okay, let's move on quickly. Castleford against Salford on Sunday.
Well, we'll be the show. If the conditions are all right, this is going to be entertaining because
Yeah.
both teams play the right way, don't they? And I say I know Cass have got a few injuries, but you look at the way that they played Salford at the weekend, and I say if Ian Watson can bottle that the way they played, then who knows? Who knows? But one thing for sure, if the conditions are good, it's going to be a points fest because they're both play the right way, they will just play open, attractive rugby league. But with Cass just being at home, I'm going Cass by 8.
Sunday afternoon rugby between two teams that like to move the ball.
Don't
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought it?
I'm going Cass by 10.
I've gone for exactly the same as Scully. I've gone Cass by 8 as well. Even though obviously Salford had that great win at the weekend, I just think that Castleford at home, different proposition. Although I seem to remember back when I used to have a job on a Sunday afternoon, I'm sure Cass and Salford had a great game.
Salford won there.
I think
One of
yeah.
the years when Cass lost a couple of home games that they shouldn't have done.
But still, I'm going for.
I thought they lost at Salford. I'm not sure they lost at home to them.
Well, I've gone Cass by 8 anyway. I think it'll be a close game.
I think it's going to be really close. Salford, the benefit of a long, they've got 8 days turnaround. I know, obviously, Cass have got a long turnaround as well, but having been back from Catalans, I think it's a game Cass need to win, probably more than Salford. I know it's a daft thing to say, it's 5 games in, but I think they'll win Cass. I'm going Cass by 2. I think it'll be really tight. I think there's some tight games to call this week.
Every minute matters in all these
But
games.
go. If you're
Yeah.
going to pick a game and you want to see attractive rugby,
If not, just stay on and watch Hull KR
Yeah,
against Catalans.
I'm working. Yes, I'll watch
Yeah,
that.
so Hull KR Catalans.
Well, after Catalan's performance, but taking nothing away from Salford,
Tim Sheen said yesterday he was gutted.
Yeah.
He said, I'm disappointed with the result.
Exactly.
It
It happened to us,
He
won't
said
it?
they beat Warrington last week and then they get beat like that. So.
So obviously McNamara McNamara's doing a massive inquiry today as to why the performance was like that. But you just feel as though Hull KR, the bit of quality what they've got from their home. I would imagine when the fixture list come out, they would have ticked this to say, right, okay then, the Catalans still got the troubles travelling away from home. So good win for Hull KR against Wakefield. I can't see any different. I think Hull KR will beat Catalans and I think they'll beat them by 10.
it's a defining game for Catalan. Because not only do they need to solve this conundrum of not being able to play away, but on the back of the abject performance, even though we started the whole of the programme saying how magnificent Salford were, probably the best 80-minute performance we've seen for many a while, there has to be a reaction from Catalan to that. If James Greenwood is out, then
No, he's done his ACL.
Rovers could barely name 17
Well,
this
Tompkins
week.
back next week.
I'm
And he said Mulhern will play next week.
going to go for a reaction from the Dragons and Catalan by 6.
My understanding is that Hull Kingston Rovers have already been on to the producers at Emmerdale, looking for a big wind machine and a big rain machine, bringing it down to New Craven Park, the KC Lightstream Megadome, ready for this week's game. And I'm still going for Catalans because I'm bitter from yesterday. Catalans by 2.
I think it's going to be really tight. Catalans have been poor on their travels. They were awful at Wakefield, and they were even worse at home last week. Yeah, there'll be a response, but Wakefield had a big pack this weekend and it didn't intimidate Hull KR, in some tough conditions. I saw enough in that second half playing into the win from Hull KR on Sunday that they've got the game plan. I think you putting Mulhern and Tompkins into that pack. If Garbutt goes like he has been doing, I thought Lynette played really well yesterday. I thought he was immense in the back row.
Great Britain Lion potential.
I thought he played really well. He took some really big carries second
Scotland's
half. Did
finest.
full 80. I am going for Hull KR by 1.
Nicholas has asked us what we think about Toronto versus Batley there. And Benny said Toronto by 50, which I think probably something.
Batley are struggling. Batley really are struggling. 1 win in 6 for them. They've got
Action for
problems. Yeah. I think Toronto will win that one quite comfortably.
Right, if you want to go against us this week, we've all tipped St Helens, we've all tipped Warrington, and we've all tipped Castleford. So those are the ones to go against on the coupon this week.
Yes.
Lump on Huddersfield,
There you go.
Wigan, and Salford.
Yeah.
And please, as they always say, that guy on the Australian NRL coverage, as he always says at the end, I say, put your money on, put your money on, put your money on. Please gamble responsibly.
Yeah, but if you are backing against us, you probably win. Right, that's it. We've done. Thanks to Gary. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to Richard, as ever. Thanks to you for watching. More of you watching every week. Thanks to all that have subscribed on YouTube. Please download and listen to the podcast. Share it with your friends. Share it on social media. We will be back next week. We'll bring some more humble pie just in case. But if we're right, we expect loads of goodies sent to this place on, Monday morning? That'll do. We'll get them then, won't we? We'll see you next week.
And don't forget new 4020.
New 4020 out now.
Friday.
Out Friday. Yeah, there you go. See you later.